Welcome to episode 11. That's nearly 3 months of consistency. Number 2. The first one was pre-record. Yeah, that's nearly 3 months.
Yeah.
You've stuck to something for 3 months.
Is that a dig at me being autistic?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, great. Cheers. We are 15 seconds in. Cheers, guys.
It's all right. Yeah, first thing you need to do is give a shout out.
Shout out. Turn me hat around. Bearded Fishermen. They are located in Gainsborough.
They've got an office in Gainsborough, yep.
Have they got multiple? I didn't know.
I possibly. I know they get calls from all over the UK.
Yeah.
So,
they
but
are
we know their office in Gainsborough. I think that's their main office.
Yeah, they are a mental health club. Just a general, I think.
Suicide prevention.
Suicide prevention and all that. And, yeah, you've done quite a bit with them before.
Yeah, I wore their shirts, going to the ring, in the ring, holiday parks, and the amount of people that questioned what it was. It normally started off, oh, are you a fisherman? I've tried fishing once or twice. I was, considering I can't tie a knot, I wasn't too bad, but I had lots of people helping me. But no, I think it's a really...
You couldn't catch a cold, mate.
I caught loads of fish.
Wow.
Yeah, I caught loads. But the work they do is phenomenal, and I'll forever shout out the Bearded Fishermen. So their link will be in the bio below. Give them a follow on social media. And hopefully soon we'll have them on the podcast as well to have a little chat about what they do within the community and within suicide prevention and all the stuff they do. And hopefully, because we said suicide prevention, that doesn't get us a strike, because I know YouTube can be weird about that word.
YouTube's weird about everything, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just, I think there's such a stigma on it, and I think without conversation, people won't change and open up and talk. So, yeah, great work that they do.
Yep, and he gets to draw 2 fishermen for the podcast, which he's going to have a great time doing.
Well, I'll draw them if they're both going to be on it.
Well, yeah, you still get to draw 2 fishermen.
Yeah. Anything that you want to say that you've done this week? I can't think if we've done anything since last time.
I don't think so.
No exciting foods.
But
oh yeah, you don't do exciting foods, do you?
just boring. Wake up, have the same day I did the other day, go to sleep.
Great stuff. So let's plug the shows.
Plug the shows.
Yep.
Yeah, multiple, because show congestion.
Yep.
We went on postering for the show after next already.
Gainsborough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go chronological order, because I've said it now. June 28th, 1NK Leisure Centre, Book of Morgan. I named it. Great name. Best show name we've ever had. And it's all because of me.
And the matches are?
Matches aren't going to put that on the floor so I can see. Morgan versus Valentine. Valentine made his England made his feelings very clear on the podcast. That episode has gone out now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, very clear. Very angry man. Visage versus HMD versus Jack Knudsen for the Anarchy title. Should be a good one. We all know that HMD likes to... I don't know how to
punch
word
people
it.
in the face.
Well, yeah, but he likes to make the most out of the Anarchy stipulation quite often, so that should be good. You've written Morgan versus Harry again.
No, I just didn't change it last time.
But it isn't. It is.
I've just pasted it.
It is Rogan versus Harry Johnson. No, neither title on the line, but it is champion versus champion, and I hope Rogan kicks the piss out of him. And then you've not written it. There's loads of there's 2 more confirmed matches. Kaya versus Malika should be good.
That is written.
That is confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But there's an extra match that you haven't written.
Oops.
Yeah.
What's that one?
That one is our guest.
Oh, well, that's why I haven't written that one. I
Well,
thought you
that's
meant
why
there was
I haven't
another
written.
one.
No.
Yeah, no.
That's why you haven't written
Because
it.
look at the note here. Plug the show, then segue to the guest.
Oh, who cares?
And it's also corrected KD to kid, because
Versus
he's the
kid.
size of a child.
Well, he is, isn't he? He's a very, very small man. I don't know why you're nodding your head, mate.
And then the week afterwards, we're back at the X Church on July the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on there?
Fight Factory Wrestling versus Pursuit Pro Wrestling PPW.
Yeah, I've overheard some of the potential matches. I'm not allowed to
I haven't
say any of them yet because I haven't been given permission. I don't think they've been 100% cleared yet, but I've seen the potential matches, so it should be exciting.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So the match that you didn't announce for the 28th.
Yeah, that I didn't announce. Well,
Yeah.
it's been announced the longest.
Yeah, I know.
I think it is probably the match with the most weighing on it, I'd say.
Yeah.
For the entire show. For the junior heavyweight title, it is KD putting his title on the line against Jack Maxwell, who is putting his Fight Factory career on the line, and he is with us today.
Hello, mate.
Hello, we alright?
Yeah, how are you?
Warm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
To quote In Betweeners, it is well hot. It might be too hot.
It's boiling.
Yeah, I am sweating just sitting here. It's disgustingly warm.
Yeah, so if one of us passes out during this,
Oh, that's a TikTok one.
yeah.
Yeah, and it just. But the
reviews.
worst thing is we're sat right underneath like a skylight, which is acting like a greenhouse for us.
Yeah, and you kind of need the light as well, so I
Do you know what I've
understand why
realised?
that light is on, to be fair, but
What I've realised is
not
we
helping.
haven't turned these lights on.
We haven't turned the studio lights on.
Do you know what? From what I'm seeing in the camera, it looks fine.
Yeah, well, we might have to post-edit that because I forgot to turn them on, and we can't do it now.
Who cares?
But it keeps it a little bit cool. I don't think they get too hot, them ones, but imagine if they were them old school lights.
We're here, aren't
That'd
we?
be disgusting. So what have you been up to?
Preparing for this match on June 28th. I think a lot of people, when I made the challenge to KD, probably thought I was out of my mind.
A little bit.
And that it's, on the surface, it's probably not the most rational decision. I think he would have gone for a little bit less of, something as sort of meteoric as what I've actually done, and said, if I can't beat you, I'm gone. But it is the way that I feel. If I can't beat him, I genuinely don't see a point in me being here. It's got to that point now where this has been going on for the last year. He's made my life an absolute living hell.
You've only had to deal with him for a year.
But it's that old saying, this town's not big enough for the two of us, so something's got to give, and it's either his championship or me, unfortunately. I'm confident I'm going to get the job done, but I'm not delusional. There is obviously a chance that June 28th is my last day.
He's a sneaky little bastard. You obviously already know that firsthand.
Not too much.
Again, you've faced each other a few times.
Uh-huh.
You ran in the same circles for a while.
Yep.
But how do you prepare for that sort of match where you've put your career on the line?
It's added pressure, but it's added pressure on myself. I think.
So as we've said on here before, pressure to create a diamond. You've
Yeah,
done that to...
yeah. I'd like to think I'll pull through, and like I said, people have said that I'm crazy, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's been more developments now. It's now going to be a no disqualification match.
Yeah, I saw that on
Oh,
social
I
media.
didn't see that.
So
Yeah, I did.
It's news to me.
yeah, he requested to make it a no DQ match. I was asked my thoughts on it, and again, it seems a stupid idea to say yes, because now I've let the likes of Harry Johnson, if he's still walking after Rogan's done with him, I've let the likes of Benjamin Quill, and I've let the likes of Jason Morgan, they can all effectively get involved now, and if it's Danny Max refereeing or Scott Bell, whoever it might be, can't do anything about it.
But have you had any handshakes of anybody backstage just in case?
Well, this is the thing. So
Because I'd straight away be there, but Doctor says no.
He can't do a
yeah.
handshake at the minute. That's the only issue with that.
It sounds stupid agreeing to it, but I know what I'm doing. There's some tricks up my sleeve, and also, like I said in the promo video that I put out, yes, KD can't get disqualified against me, but I can't get disqualified against him. He can't pull any tricks and try and get me DQ'd, because that's off the table now. And I think it has to happen to put a definitive stamp on everything. If this match was to end in a DQ or a count out or something like that, there would always be that kind of asterisk against it.
Excuse me.
Bet number 3.
Yeah.
Where this will just draw a line under everything, with it being no DQ, and we will rightfully see who deserves to be the junior heavyweight champion.
So let's say you win and you're still here. I don't know how publicly this is, but you also work with PPW. Where does that do anything to you? Like, has it made you feel like in an awkward place? Because as far as I'm aware, it's just working together and having a show versus, but these sort of things tend to spiral out of control and there becomes a bit of a rivalry. So have you had any thoughts along that?
Oh, massively. When it first got announced, I thought I'm really between like a rock and a hard place here because PPW, like, it's the place that I train, but then FFW is my home in terms of the place that I wrestle the most and the most frequently. So I'm not advertised for the show. I'm not on the poster for the show because I might not be here.
Well, we don't know what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
exactly.
Do we?
So I said that to Rebecca. I said there's no point advertising me for it if we don't know if I'm going to be there. So yeah, it's been a weird one walking into PPW on Thursdays for training and sort of knowing that the two different places are going to be going to war soon. But hopefully it can just be a, shake hands, may the best team win kind of thing. But something tells me Nathan Black doesn't really want it to be that way. So
I mean, we've been in several of these cross promotional shows over the years, and one of them ended up lasting well over a year. I think you were involved to the tail end of that with House of Pain.
A little bit, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And then we've been in shows with SOS and WAW. I can't remember who else. There's been several.
There was a few. I remember there was a big invasion in one of them. I can't
There's
remember where that was.
HEW down in Essex.
Yeah.
There's been several, and normally they have ended with a bit of a best team won or well done, But yeah, Nathan seemed to put his 2 pence in at the end of the last event at Thundergraps, and be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, these things always turn into turf wars, don't they? To the absolute surprise of no one. It's like a WWE contract signing. They don't just sign a contract and leave. The table's getting flipped at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something interesting for the fans, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it also opens eyes to other talent. We've said it several times on here that we run 6 to 8 matches per show, or 5 to 8 matches per show, and that's just with our regular talent and the talent that's trained here. There is so much talent in British wrestling around the country, around the different training schools, that the public don't always know it's there.
Yeah.
Like, so many people only know WWE, and there's so much good wrestling in the UK.
Yeah, I was the same until about, I think, the age of maybe 13. I didn't even know, I don't know if it was the same for you, Ian. I didn't even know if wrestling existed outside of WWE. Like, I would hear, like, when, like, the jobbers would come in to do the enhancement matches, and the commentators would be like, oh, I've seen this guy on the independent circuit. I didn't know what the hell they were talking. I thought the independent circuit was like their, like, WWE's, like, audition place or something like that. Genuinely, that's what I thought it was, or like their training school. It wasn't until my dad took me to an NGW show where I realised, actually wrestling exists outside of WWE, and it's sort of like a league table, you know what I mean? WWE is like the Champions League, but you have all these that fall underneath kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my entire life I've been going around indie shows because of this prick.
That's fair. That is, totally fair, actually. Didn't really think about that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think, when would my first show that I've been to would have been?
Oh, God, I couldn't tell you. Couldn't.
Like,
oh,
3.
actually, I might know. I think the first one that your mum brought you to was a free show for GWARDW in Grimsby at, I could be wrong, the shopping centre. I use that term very loosely in Grimsby. But I'm sure it was there where they were advertising for a WWE game, like
WWE
2012 or something.
I know there's a picture out there, search up if you want, of you editing my face onto the WWE 13 cover.
Oh, no, it was before that.
That's somewhere on Facebook, I know that.
Yeah, it must have been 12. It must have been 12. So yeah, that I remember that because your mum wasn't coming, and then she got the train down, because back then we only had the one car, and she brought you on a train. I'm sure that could have been the first one you were brought to. or the one before. As soon as I got hit, you cried, and I had to bring you backstage to meet everybody, and you stole championship belts from everybody, thinking they were yours and that you could have them.
Yeah.
Which is actually a really cool little segue.
It's the exact same mentality I have right now.
It's a nice little segue to the conversation that you guys were having while I was trying to fix some computer issues. So that's something different we can talk about.
We were talking a little bit about it because obviously we're filming this in our studio and there's a bunch of title belts up there. I'll get a picture of it or something. There's these Fight Factory ones, but they're boring. Well, I'm going to be honest, right? I get the whole old school British style, but that is the most boring title. I will get a picture of it because I can't see it on the camera. That old European title is the most boring title I think I've ever seen.
It's also the heaviest title.
Yeah, that's way too big to be a title, I think. That'd pretty much drown me, so...
Yeah, so that, the European title is our oldest in lineage.
Right.
So the original belt was a British championship belt from old World of Sport days, from joint promotions. And Dale Preston held it for 16 years. I beat him for it, and then
That's
I got
a long title
booked.
reign, that.
Yeah, I got
Roman Reigns,
booked
brother.
in. I want to say Belgium. So it's like, right, okay, well, we need to make this the European if I'm going to defend it there. So we needed a belt quick, and your mum left me unsupervised for 5 minutes, and I was like, well, that's a little bit bigger. So we spoke to the belt designer, and that arrived, and holy shit, it's so heavy. It's definitely not carry-on luggage.
I find it so funny that the logos, the EU stars and everything were champion, yet most of the flag is not Europe at all. Most of the title, you've got North America, South America, Africa, a tiny bit of Europe.
Yeah, and the way that's positioned as well, isn't like a typical globe where, where like the UK is bang in the middle.
Yeah.
Because that could have been like covering Africa or something, but yeah, it's not.
That's just covering the Caribbean, that.
It's turned into a geography lesson now, isn't it?
I'm autistic, I love flags.
It looks like a bit like a boxing belt though. Like
Yeah.
I can see Rocky holding that.
Yeah,
up
I
in one
think
of the films.
actually originally it was.
And then there's, oh no, where is the it might be at our house getting cleaned, the old black belt. Was that the old
that's
British
the one that's getting cleaned. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the under 18s title that was also the junior title,
The first
beforehand,
junior heavyweight, yeah.
which people like Kip Sabian have held.
Yep.
So that's another title we've got lineage. That's the title going after. There's a lot of names in that. I just
shouldn't be added to that list. I see they got the. I was the last holder of that Anarchy title.
Of that particular one?
Yeah. The day that I was given the new title was the day that Jack Bennett beat me for it. So I held the new belt for about 10 minutes.
That's a good celebration of it.
The new belt's pretty cool, though, isn't it?
I like the new belt, yeah. I mean, I like the old, like, the WWE hardcore one. I'm a huge Mick Foley mark, so I love that belt, but...
So that was brought in
cool.
by a trainee who re-leathered and did work on the metal for championship belts as a side hustle, and someone didn't pay him, and he brought it in and says, "Is there any use for this in the company?" And Tobin Grace, who was wrestling for us back then, always wanted to get into the anarchy and the hardcore wrestling, so it was something he actually introduced to the company, and that's how the division became what it was. And the new belt that was you were the first holder of, essentially. There was a fake of that within 2 weeks on eBay with our logo on and everything on eBay and on one of the Chinese sites like Temu or something like that. Someone had replicated our title belts.
But if it was 2 weeks later, they could have only seen it from that one show.
From the pictures that went online,
or the pictures that went out afterwards.
Or it might have been 2 months, maybe, but yeah.
As much as it's like, oh, they've nicked it, that's got to be some kind of compliment that they've nicked a belt from...
The belt designer and maker was pretty pissed off. Yeah. And rightfully so. Yeah. Like, he designed it and everything, and... Yeah, he was mightily pissed. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's pretty cool. Isn't it?
Imitation's the most sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So with belts, what sort of belts did you like? Because I only heard half your conversation. So is there any be it WWE, WCW, any American, British? Was there any that really took your
So
fancy?
because I got into wrestling like relatively late, I was like 11 when I started watching, which was like late 2007, early 2008. Probably
Wasn't born
wasn't
yet.
even born,
Yeah.
of course. So that the John Cena spinner belt, that was the WWE Championship to when I grew up, and I do like the belt, but like I said before, it only really suited John Cena for me. It didn't really suit anybody else.
It just is.
I loved the classic World Heavyweight Championship, or the WCW Championship
big gold
before
one.
that. The
Big
big
gold.
gold, yeah. Obviously, as I was growing up, I didn't really know about WCW or anything like that, so I didn't realise that it had that prior lineage to it. It might be quite controversial. I really liked that silver ECW one. I know everyone hated the new ECW.
The
WWE
Lashley type
CW.
one.
Yeah, well, like I picture Christian with it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's something about silver belts that I think
The
quite
one
cool.
the one that the ECW title that was on its way out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like not the
See, that reminded
big
me of,
circle one.
I can't remember the name of the show, but there was like a rap battle show on MTV, and it just reminded me of something that should have been on a game show like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I think WWE treat anything that wasn't Raw and SmackDown at
Yeah.
the time as a game show though. I mean, you look at early NXT, that was a game show, so
I rated that as well. I know a lot of people hated that, but NXT season 1 with like all the Nexus guys in it, I loved that.
never sat down and watched game show NXT. I just haven't.
Fairs.
But you used to like the Nexus.
Yeah, and they were main roster.
Yeah, but so what did you think? So when the Nexus debuted, like, what did you think? Did you think these are just 8 new guys that have turned up?
Yeah, well, I can't
didn't-
remember. I was like 3 or 4, but
Yeah.
but Wade Barrett.
Whenever
Yeah.
Cena got beat up, he'd scream.
Yeah,
Oh, he's a big Cena
I
fan.
was Cena baby.
I
Started
went
out
through
like-
weird phases, me, where like I was
Cheer the
so
bad guy.
I was so disloyal. Like I was for the streets in that regard. I had like a different favorite every week,
Yeah.
but it was real random who my favorite would be. Like I remember when Batista like turned heel on Rey Mysterio. I loved that. I loved heel Batista when he had the spotlight. But then I really liked CM Punk as well, and he's nothing like Batista. And I loved Rey Mysterio, and he's nothing like them two either. I loved Triple H, and the only people I really hated, and it's only now where I look back and I go, it was because they were so good at their job. Edge and Chris Jericho I despised during that late 2000s time period. And it's just because they were such good heels.
Yeah.
I was a massive fan of Justin Gabriel.
Yeah, I thought Justin
Just-
Gabriel was cool.
He's one of them ones that's almost been lost to time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But he was incredible.
Yeah, there's a whole like phase of like those mid card guys from like the late 2000s, early 2010s, like you know, like
Justin Gabriel, Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne, Alex
Yeah.
Riley,
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre to a point at that period of
Shelton
time.
Benjamin was a little earlier, but
Yeah,
he kinda
gold
falls
standard
into that
Shelton
as well.
Benjamin, I loved.
mm.
I think I was just saying to the other day at PPW, they had like one of the Royal Rumbles on, and I was like, man, JTG was so good.
Mm.
I loved his look and everything, wrestling in like the jeans and the Timberland boots. I absolutely loved him.
I think mid-card wrestling was so much better. I call it mid-card wrestling. They were great, but back then it was Tret so much. I don't even know if it's Tret so much more, if it's nostalgia. But you look at a lot of the mid-card now, and it's like...
Yeah, but again,
They
when you
weigh
look
in
at that
it.
in 10 years and you go, actually, they were really good.
Yeah.
It's always better to look back and go,
Yeah, I know,
actually,
that's
cool.
what I'm saying, but I feel like mid-card guys are treated more like mid-card guys than they were then. But I'm not even sure if that's right, or if it's just nostalgia taking over.
I think it's
I
just
don't know, because
nostalgia.
like I remember at the time I didn't really think much to like Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston, and now
Yeah,
like
maybe.
rewatching like Raw from like 2011, they were putting on bangers like
Mm.
every single week for that IC title without fail, pretty much.
Jimmy Wan Yang. Incredible.
But you look back at Kofi Kingston, and you know there was a period of time where everybody waited for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
You know, so like we look back. I think you always look back more fondly than when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's been famously said by the guys who were in the Attitude Era. They didn't realise how cool it was until they've sat back and looked backwards. To it.
yeah. And people copied that stuff now. Like I did a Rumble for BWR a couple of weeks ago, and there was a point in the match where someone went, oh, I'm going to do a Kofi Kingston spot here. And everyone knows exactly what that means. It's You get eliminated, but you find a inventive way to save yourself from being eliminated. And that stuff will live on forever, you know what I mean? So, and Kofi Kingston is a former world champion as well. So you have to give him respect in that way. He isn't just a mid-carder, really.
Kofi Kingston's great. He's incredible.
He was one that you collected a few of his figures of, and
I collected everyone's figures then.
yeah, but that was one that you were after a lot. Like when the new one came out, you wanted it. When he went from being Jamaican to being American.
I was literally about to say I miss when he was Jamaican.
But as soon as his accent changed and that's like they brought out a new figure because he went from the Jamaican looking flag type gear to
Kofi Kingston's old theme is one of the best wrestling themes ever, by the way. It's the least wrestling sounding wrestling theme ever, but it was great.
How many Kofi Kingston figures did you have?
Oh, there was a good few. I reckon it would take me like 5 minutes to find one in my room, if that.
I think if I was ever in WWE, I would change my gear all the time because then
Just
I knew
to get
I'd get
as
a
many
new
action
figure.
figures, yeah.
I'd seen a thing with Randy Orton. Like I'm sure Randy Orton doesn't miss it, but apparently Randy Orton's missed out on loads of like royalties over the years because he's never changed his gear, so they can't make new figures for him really, unless he changes his physical look and gets more tattoos or whatever.
Whereas Cena would change it for every town.
Have a different T-shirt all the time. Yeah.
Yep, and then
You got to think how much
all the
T-shirts retiring to.
all the little bands and the baseball caps, and then the figures.
You got to think, like, if Mattel still have the deal, then 10 years time they'll do a retro line, and it'll just be John Cena It'll have the Lakers type shirt he did, the UK shirt, the Belgium shirt, the just red retirement one. Just the entire tour, basically, all 36 dates of it is gonna have an action figure.
I think he probably just looks at like a Dulux paint chart and just goes this color, this color, this color, and just goes on until he finishes it, and then
Pebbles.
by then he's back to the start again.
But what a money machine that is.
I mean, it was weird, obviously, because Cena Kid, when he came out in green in one of the cities, I popped for it for just the colour of his shirt.
Nottingham is where we got you the green shirt
yeah.
from. We took you to see that when you were really little, and you had that and the hat, I think.
The Ryback Pyro, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any other wrestling chat before we move on?
Nothing that's springing to mind. No.
No. Any matches that you're excited to see? Do you watch the matches when you're at the show? Like, if you've been on before, is there any that you kind of hope are after you so you can watch them?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really, really, really. I can't stress how looking forward I am to actually seeing Rogan against Harry Johnson. And it's not because Rogan's like one of my best mates. I genuinely, obviously, we've had our differences being in the new age and me coming out of the new age, but I'll always respect the talent that I think Harry Johnson has. That I think he's going to be really, really good someday, and obviously Rogan's going to give him a little bit of a humbling. We all think next Saturday, but it's such an interesting clash of styles as well. It's something that Rogan's probably never wrestled someone like Harry before, or if he has, it's probably a long time ago, and Harry's obviously never wrestled someone like Rogan before. It's his biggest test yet, bar none. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out. I think everyone expects Harry to get killed, but I think he might surprise a few people.
He's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
He's always got that roll up, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But
he's just something in his back pocket.
real life at the minute has been a big distraction for him because he's just done his exams. So is his head in the right place to face somebody like Rogan?
Yeah.
And he also lost to me.
Has he got those equations?
Well,
going
that's going to be playing in his head, isn't it? Because he
Yeah.
lost that match as well. So
Wow.
there's a few things here that's going against him. But again, could that pressure create a diamond? Could we even call it an upset with how good he's got, how quick, like how young he is?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, Rogan is our world champ.
Yeah,
I think
I
you
know.
have to call it an upset if Harry wins, but it is champion versus champion, and he's champion for a reason. So
Shouldn't be there.
I know, but
Shouldn't be. I've been mugged.
He got picked up by the New Age, and he grew into himself very quickly. And I think everybody said it. He's gonna be great one day. He's already beyond his years. And we said this last week. There's a group of the kids that started in the juniors, and I'm not saying it because they're my kids, but AJ and TJ, and then you've got Carter, who's also really like knocking it out the park.
He gets better I've wrestled Carter on like quite a few the camp shows and stuff like that, and I noticed the improvement every single time.
Each time, isn't it?
Yeah. And he's finding his voice now as well, which is really good.
Yeah. Then we've got Malika again, who it was commented by Valentine. Some of the people who came to watch realised how much of a beating she can take and keep getting up. You know, she's done a bit of boxing previously, and she's a tough kid. Harry, obviously. Kaya came from the original juniors.
Yep.
So there's quite a few of these young uns that I probably don't need to worry about, because I don't look like I'm going to get my surgery anytime soon.
Yeah.
But like the likes of yourself, they're climbing this ladder, and
I know.
one day they're going to be biting at your guys' coattails.
It's scary as well. Like, it makes me feel old, and I consider myself to still be like quite a young guy.
I keep rubbing it in, mate.
Wait till I start.
But yeah, suddenly like being 28, it feels old when you're surrounded by the likes of Harry.
Still
and,
got 13 years to go.
Yeah.
It's all right, there's a steel chair just behind you. Just take him out with one smooth hit if you want. So, all the wrestling stuff aside then, let's get into the food side of things, because we like to
always.
talk about food. What would be your Tesco meal deal? We already know part of it is fridge raiders.
But not always. Not always. I've got a proper bone to pick with Rogan about this.
God.
First of all, okay, I understand that fridge raiders, when you just open the packet, it's an acquired smell. If you're in a car full of people, I do kind of understand. But two things. Number one, Rogan doesn't drive. So whatever car he's complaining about stinking out isn't his. So if it's Reese driving and Reese doesn't care, then why should he care? And number two, you asked Rogan what his meal deal was, and he said a can of Mango Monster and a Bueno. So you didn't even pick a main. So it ceases to be a meal deal at that point.
I think I said that, didn't
So
you?
so Rogan can't have a go at anyone for their meal deal choices.
This sounds like shots fired.
Are we doing another champ versus champ, right?
This is what happens in car rides all the time. It's just everyone gets their choices just ripped apart. But I'm like to consider myself like a little bit of a maverick, so I'll try and do different meal deal combinations all the time. But if we're going to like the one that I will always go back to, it probably is the chicken, bacon and lettuce sandwich. I'm gonna have to, just for the content, I'm gonna have to say it is fridge raiders. It is fridge raiders. It's either fridge raiders or fruit. I'm well into mango, so it could be mango sometimes.
Can't remember last time I had mango. Or any.
Get
Is that
on
not
it.
a bit
It's
too
the-
exotic for your
It's
taste
the best
buds?
fruit. It's the best fruit in my opinion.
I like melon.
I like melons too.
It's-
And then the drink would probably be, depending on what mood I'm in, the drink would either be a Dr. Pepper or it'd be a raspberry Lucozade. Sometimes if it's like pre-show, I'll get an energy drink. But I don't know why, because every time I have an energy drink, I always feel like I really, really, really need the toilet. And the last thing you want to be doing before a match is feeling like you need the toilet. But maybe that's just like a weird like nerve thing.
It's
where
a diuretic, isn't it?
I feel the
So
sensation of needing
like,
the toilet, but I
energy
actually
drinks
don't.
go through you
Yeah.
quicker. It's a natural thing. It's the caffeine.
Yeah,
that
and every
causes
time I'm like, I should just stop drinking energy drinks before matches.
it
but
could just be a nervous piss.
yeah, maybe.
That is
Well, mixing the two together is always
Yeah.
room for a disaster
How
to
many,
happen
how
one
many
day.
times have you gambled on that then?
Touch wood, that's never happened to me. I'm waiting for the, because God, I've wrestled like Rogan and HMD so many times, and they love like to do a scent on splash. I'm waiting for the day they hit that on me.
You
and-
just shit yourself,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm waiting for that
There's-
to happen. I'll
it
get away
feels-
with it because I wear black gear, but I will know that it's happened.
It feels like every wrestler who does a podcast ever has some kind of story about shitting himself, doesn't it?
No,
I'm not
I
even
don't
about
think
us.
it's that common.
What you look? I remember Johnny Gargano said it a few times. Oh, when he went on that Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah.
Like it feels. There's a few others who I can't remember names, but
There's been a few times where you gamble, where you're like, oh, there's a bit of a bubbly feeling, or I could just go for a pee, but my music's playing.
I know Cena had food poisoning and just had a match.
Oof, that's brave.
That's a gamble I wouldn't
That is
take.
brave, yeah. Yeah, I've heard stories about people who've like, or they've like wrestled severely hungover and they've like crawled out the ring and like
Just thrown up
thrown
under
up
the
like
apron.
under the curtain or something like that.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it, that was like a classic on like the All-Star runs and things like that.
Lads.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you weren't just hungover, you were still drunk.
And that made him a better wrestler.
And yeah, trying to do it while you're off, you're not on pain pills as well is always a interesting time.
All
Do
kind of
not
concoctions
recommend.
going on in there. Yeah.
I mean,
not-
it made Kurt Angle really good at his job.
Yeah, okay, he's a different league.
Yeah.
But I think for the average person who's taken maybe a bit too many tablets too quickly, it's yeah. I hope nobody ever has got footage of me when I was like that. Let's put it that way.
Pet Dutch.
Awful. Okay, so meal deal.
Add that to your meal deal.
What, pain pills?
Yeah.
I can get prescriptions still.
Put
That makes
in
me
your
sound like a
BLT.
dealer, doesn't it? So your
I think
McDonald's
that makes
meal.
me sound like just as a decrepit old man more than anything.
I'm
to be
getting there.
fair.
McDonald's meal after a show, 4-hour, 5-hour drive. What you getting?
Can't say triple cheeseburger. They've discontinued it, bastards.
I didn't even know they existed. Triple cheeseburgers? I thought you only ever got to double. I didn't realise triple cheeseburgers were actually a thing, to be fair.
I don't think it was for that long though, was it?
Yeah.
Been a while.
Fair.
You were talking about it with Valentine on the last episode, and that's
No,
when
no, it was a double. We used to get the double meat, then we'd get a chicken patty or something.
He definitely said something about a triple cheeseburger
Maybe.
because I mentioned it last.
I don't
time.
dispute it. I do reckon they did exist. I'm not saying you're lying. I just don't remember ever seeing them when you're thinking through. It's such a classic in McDonald's. I feel like every wrestler goes to
Because
McDonald's.
it's all open though, isn't it?
McDonald's after a show.
It's
Back
it's
before
midnight,
COVID,
yeah.
you could be travelling somewhere and there'd still be the odd Burger King or the WH Smith or something open where you could get food. Even some of the places where you could get the hot water and have a pot noodle or something.
Yeah.
But now, literally, since COVID, the only things is fuel stations and McDonald's. There's not even a late night Starbucks anymore that I know of.
Yeah. But to answer the question, I would go depending on what mood I'm in. So if I'm in a beef mood, I would go with the double quarter pounder with cheese meal. I mix the drinks up all the time, but probably Fanta's like the go-to for me. Chips, obviously, I'm not.
Especially in this sort of weather with Fanta.
No
not-
one's getting a fruit bag.
I'm not
let's be
messing about
honest,
with carrot sticks and
Yeah.
fruit bags. It's
Fuck that.
obviously medium fries. Or if I'm in a chicken mood, then I'll go for the 5 chicken select meal.
I've been getting like last few times I've had Mackey's, it's always been chicken selects.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Well, do you enjoy the chicken? Because a lot of people don't like the McDonald's chicken. I don't know if that's
I
just
think-
because they're used to KFC or whatever.
I think it's
but
good.
I
Like,
rate it.
It's not great. It's
Yeah.
McDonald's, but it's good for what it is.
Yeah.
Although I say that, I do actually enjoy double quarter pounder from Mackey's. I actually like it as a food. No one seems to like. You don't actually like Mackey's, do you?
I like the desserts. I like the sauces. And I like convenience. Again, 4 a.m, coming back from one of them 6-hour trips. You just need something. And who wants a cold meal or one that's been in your bag all day? Like, yeah, you want something. But I'm just not a fan. I
The
just don't think it
mozzarella
tastes
sticks.
nice.
Mozzarella
pretty
sticks
plain.
from Mackey's are good.
A lot of people say that about the plainness of it. I don't know. I mean, I don't like gherkins. I pick out the gherkins, but I think everything else is quite
Part of the
flavoursome.
only bit of flavour in the burger.
But I'm not a McDonald's dessert person. I
like a McFlurry.
It never crosses my mind to get a McFlurry ever.
But
See, I do like a
don't-
McFlurry and an apple pie and you smash it in there. I'm a fan
I
of
like
that.
a McFlurry, but when I'm going to a Mackey's, I'm not exactly thinking about a chocolate brownie. You know what I mean?
I never would.
Like, and that's an
Never-
actual thing. on the
Whereas
menu.
your
I didn't-
opponent for the next show likes to go to KFC and get a cookie and a coffee.
What? What a waste. What a waste. Why are you going to KFC and not getting chicken?
No, he probably is getting chicken as well, but he really rates
Oh,
their cookies.
okay. But he goes for...
If
loves
you
their
go
cookies, yeah.
to some I say takeaway, Subway's not a takeaway, but Subway cookies, they're the best takeaway cookies. Maybe Domino's actually, but
I know
Subway
Domino's at
cookies
one
are-
point did them hot chocolate orange ones, was it, or something?
They've got cream egg ones at the minute, don't they?
Are you guys
That's
into the
for me.
soft cookies, or do you prefer the crunchy ones?
Oh, I like a soft
Depends
cookie.
on the place.
I like a soft one.
Yeah.
I think
I got a dessert box for Father's Day from the place we speak about all the time. Just Bake It. It's literally just around the corner from here. And there was a gooey cookie in there. Holy shit.
Yeah. I got a bit of crap at work the other day because I referred to the soft cookies as medium rare cookies. In my head, that makes sense that it's medium rare because it's like tender. And they're like, what the hell are you on about referring to cookies as medium rare? Medium rare and boneless, I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, we'll bring a chef in and see what a chef says.
I mean, my Opa lives just down the road, doesn't he? You bring him in.
If you stick to any
Also,
sort of food...
hold on. Why would you bring a chef for cookies? Bring a baker.
Because of the word medium rare.
But it's cookies.
Yeah, but medium rare refers to steak.
Yeah.
We're talking about cookies.
It depends which way you're looking at it, I think. You could bring a chef in to say, does it make sense to call a cookie medium rare? Or you could bring a baker in to say, does it make sense to call a cookie? I think you can go either way with it.
I'll ask either.
Yeah.
Get both. Do we know a baker?
Yeah, just bake it.
Well, yeah, but like I meant personally.
We can go in there and ask him.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
But I'm not buying any more cookies. I need to get back on plan. But being on plan,
I'm not on.
do you do cheat days? And if you do, what's your cheat day of choice?
So I don't. So I don't really diet per se. I think I've been quite lucky in the sense of when it comes to food, like I don't really have any vices. I'm not like obsessed with chocolate or anything like that. I don't really like. I kind of know what's good and what's bad, and kind of base it from there. And also, like I think food's meant to be enjoyed as well. I don't think I could be one of those people who walk around with Tupperware boxes of
fish,
plain chicken and
a
rice.
rice cake.
Yeah, I could never be the fish and a rice cake guy.
Didn't he sell? I think we've
He
mentioned
actually
it
sells
before.
rice cakes.
He sells
Yeah.
rice cakes, doesn't he?
He is jacked, to be fair. I've seen because I think he was preparing for like a bodybuilding competition or something.
Yeah.
One day I've seen a clip of him recently, and it was like, this is the fish and a rice cake guy now, and looking good, to be fair. But like, because I wouldn't have like a cheat day per se. If we're talking just like junk food in general, though, absolutely love a calzone. I don't know why I much prefer a calzone to pizza, because it's the same thing
innit?
folded, but it is a bit different, I think. And I think because when you go into a takeaway, you have like 20 different pizzas on the board. It's a bit overwhelming for me. I don't know if this is like a bit of a autism trait or something, but I get a bit like, I don't know what to choose. Whereas a calzone, you've only got like 3 or 4 options really, so it kind of, I like to have a choice, but I don't like to have too much choice.
Have you ever arrived at Gainsborough early and gone to the ice cream parlour that's a couple of miles down the road?
No, we're exclusively Gainsborough Grill people.
Okay, so if you come early, because it obviously closes at like 4, there's an ice cream parlour literally down the road.
That road, yeah.
I think it's 101 flavours they have.
Too
Now,
much?
to me, they all sound amazing, and you stand there like, holy shit, I could have that, holy shit. But then it's too much because I can't make a decision.
Yeah.
And then you end up just picking the same
And then it's
thing every
like,
time.
well, if I have that and that together, will it taste like shit because they're two totally opposite flavours? And
Yeah.
for me, I hate options. Like, going to eat with me is a nightmare. I know what I like, but if there's so many things on the menu that I like, I'm like, you're just going to have to order for me. I can't do it.
Anything with Kinder Bueno and Reese's.
I wouldn't say it's expensive for what you're getting. The quality of they do food as well. The quality of the food and the quality of the ice cream is amazing. It's called Blyton. Really, really good place.
Because I think if it's cheap, you're more willing to take a gamble and go, I'll go something really exotic. But if it's expensive, you're like, I don't want to take a gamble and then I don't like it. So I'm just going to get the same thing that I always get because I know that I do like that and it's tried and tested kind of thing.
It's been a while since I've been, but I took Laurie once.
Right.
And back then they did a cone like this.
Yeah. Was
And
it like
5 scoops in it. So she took the 5 scooper. Took Eliza Rue once when we were postering. She took a 5 scooper. So I wouldn't say it's massively expensive. I think for what you're getting, it's worth it. Yeah. If you can do the 5 scoops and the cone, then that's pretty impressive. But it's if you're an ice cream person and you're in the Gainsborough area.
Who isn't an ice cream person?
There's loads of people who don't like ice cream.
How can you not like ice
cream? I mean, I don't mind it. It's not my favourite dessert, but like, I wouldn't turn it. You know, I mean, I don't tear my nose up at ice cream.
Ice cream's great. Ice cream goes with any dessert goes with ice cream.
Coffee goes with ice cream.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know anyone who doesn't like ice cream.
I can't. Yeah. You can't name somebody who isn't it. She lies. She says she doesn't like chocolate, and then she's just bought a big fuck off Marvelous Creations bar, whatever it's called. She lies. She loves it. Everyone loves ice cream. There isn't a person who dislikes ice cream. My brother's lactose intolerant and he likes ice cream.
Oh yeah. So if you ever wrestle TJ, ask him first if he's had an ice cream or a milkshake, because you know you're in for a bad time if he has.
Is this
before.
like a severe, like, because there's varying levels, isn't
Well,
there?
he had a milkshake the other day when we went to Manchester, and the car journey home was interesting.
You just wouldn't risk it, would you? I know I wouldn't. I'd be rubbish
Yeah,
if
but
I
it's
was.
ice cream.
Yeah,
or
I know,
milkshake.
true.
They both taste incredible.
True. I'd be rubbish if I had a. I mean, it would be different because I wouldn't like peanuts if I had a peanut allergy, but I'm into peanut butter and stuff.
I love peanut butter.
And also, I didn't realize how many things peanuts are in, and I'd be so bad at like checking for peanut traces and stuff like that.
Oh, if I had a nut allergy, I'd just gamble. I wouldn't bother looking.
know.
Take the
Bueno.
hospital trip.
I went to sports day for you and Madison when you were both in primary school,
would've been, yeah.
and I pulled out a Fulfill protein bar. They're my favourite, like chocolatey kick. If I'm
Yeah.
being really strict, and even then, they're still just a chocolate bar with protein, right? But they've got a caramel peanut and a white caramel peanut. Both incredible, and I got it out, took my first bite, and a teacher came running over. You're going to have to leave the school grounds because there's a kid with severe allergy that could literally die on just the
smell of it.
smell of it.
Gets
I'm like,
into his system. Yeah,
shit.
you hear about that on planes and stuff, don't you? Where if like one of the passengers has an allergy, no one's allowed to
Yeah.
open a bag of peanuts or anything.
I remember that when I went on planes, that's what were given to you. You get peanuts, like craziness. So
Kinder Bueno. That doesn't sound like nut. I'll risk it. Fuck it. I'm just.
Only hazelnut.
yeah, I was gonna say it's
Literally got a
definitely-
nut
No,
in
I've
there.
never. Well, I know it's definitely not, but the name. Like, I wouldn't look into the ingredients and stuff because I had a nut allergy.
I think if it was that
Yeah,
severe,
but
you would.
that's kind of what I'm saying. I'd be
Yeah,
rubbish
but
at that, but then
Kinder Bueno's nice
But
enough
now
to
you've got
neglect
like
it.
in the palm of your hand, there's apps for that sort of stuff. So all you do is scan the food, and
QR,
it tells you
scan
this
the
will kill you.
barcode, yeah.
yeah.
So-
I never knew like satay was cooked with peanuts. To be fair, I just
That's
thought,
what it is, yeah.
I just thought it was like a type of curry. So I'd be probably dead by now if I had a peanut allergy. But if I had a peanut allergy, I
You'd
would be
know
looking
you'd
for
have a
those
peanut
things.
yeah.
So it's hard to say.
If you like satay, then you want to try my dad's satay. He was a chef all over.
Right.
And Indonesian satay sauce.
Is that like his specialty?
Well, it's what everybody asks for when they've tried it. Yeah, it's when Becca and I got married. It's what he and two of his former colleagues did our food for us.
Yeah.
So we had the Indonesian satay and we had loads of other dishes, and that's the thing that everybody spoke about, the sauce with the chicken. So, yes, incredible. I should really get that to.
It sounds like
It's a pigeon on the roof.
a rat or something.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, pigeon. Yeah. See, I should one day pay for my dad to do some catering if he was capable of doing it still for everyone after a show. That'd be great.
But he can't.
You'd be in
walk
so many
properly.
people's good books as well. They'd be
Yeah.
like, I'm wrestling for FFW forever if they always put on a spread afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, if my dad would be capable of, that's something he'd be like, actually, yeah,
Yeah.
because that's his way of entertaining, was cooking for people.
Yeah.
And he still is pretty fucking good at it. So, yeah, right. So,
Unless you're autistic, then yeah.
but he's
Yeah, I've
still
heard
still
it's kind of a struggle.
Yeah. So you're not about the satay then?
It's too much stuff.
you buy
going
him a
on.
different type of chicken nugget, and he'll freak out.
What's as exotic as you get food wise? Would you say?
What do you count as exotic? Because I don't.
Well,
know
you
what
tell me
exotic
like
food
when you
is.
felt brave, like trying something new.
I ain't got a fucking clue. I had dragon fruit once.
Dragon. That sounds quite exotic actually.
I can't remember what it tasted like, but I know I had it.
Did you like it?
Can't remember. I don't know. Food's just. I think it's so routine. Just grab that from freezer, put it in, eat it, done. I don't really think of exotic food or what. I genuinely can't
It's
think.
difficult to go out for a family meal.
Right.
That's like, if he will be safe and go nuggets and chips, and then if the nuggets
Wow,
aren't,
that is a pigeon.
I told
I
you
can
it
see him
was.
It's
coming
a
through the
massive pigeon. Fucking hell.
If the nuggets aren't the exact nuggets that he likes, then he'll sit there and just not eat.
I won't complain about the food. If it's like
He won't complain verbally,
say I get a
but his
McDonald's,
face is
then-
like you've just shit on his plate.
like say I go to McDonald's, right, and I ask for it plain and they put sauce in it. I'm not gonna ask for a refund. I just won't eat the burger like entirely. I'll just eat the chips, drink, put burger in bin, and leave.
Would you not like scrape the?
No, because it's still
sauce.
got it on.
Yeah, so I used to be like that because my weird thing is I don't like ketchup. Like loads of people love ketchup,
Ketchup is minging.
but I don't like it.
Minging.
And that'd be the same at when we'd go to like McDonald's as a child, my mum would say it takes so much longer to just order a plain cheeseburger, so just get a normal one and I'll scrape the sauce off it if you don't like it. It was never enough for me. I felt like it was always still going to be there.
Been poisoned.
You can still taste it though.
Yeah.
I can still, if it's been scraped off, you can still taste it.
Yeah.
Wow, you have been tested for autism.
But now I just get on with it now. Like I think as I've got older, I can hack it now. So now if there is ketchup in my burger, I'll just go whatever, and I'll still have it.
Yeah, I can't.
So sometimes I was going, no, we've paid for it. We're gonna sort it. But if it's been one of them long journeys, or it's been like, especially if they've been getting at me all day, then again I always feel bad afterwards. But like, can you just please change this and get your job right? We asked for it plain. It's on the sticker that it's plain, and you've still put fucking everything on it. Yeah. And you're like, Dad, please stop, please stop.
I just can't be asked. A, it's altercation, which isn't needed. B, I've ate the chips, so I'm fine. I'm just not bothered.
Well, it is what it is, isn't it? So movies is another thing. What sort of movies are you into?
Oh, so this could take the rest of the podcast if you wanted to. So I'm like in my friendship group, I'm like the film buff of the group. So not that we've done one for ages, but whenever we've done like pub quizzes and stuff like that, if ever there's which 1981 film starring Al Pacino, like everyone on the table will just like slowly turn my direction, because then they don't have a clue, but they think I will. So I'm into all sorts, but then like I've seen really obscure films, but then I've also not seen really mainstream ones. Like it was kind of a running joke about a year ago. I'd never seen any of the Rush Hour films.
Just an indie wrestling fan, really.
Basically, yeah, pure indie. I'd never seen any of the Rush Hour films until like late last year, and that was like a big like you've seen everything, but yet you haven't seen Rush Hour.
I don't think
kind of
I've
thing.
ever watched any of the Rush Hours either.
They are good, actually.
You should watch them.
Yeah.
I'm just not a massive movie person, really.
Oh, I am. I don't know. So what do you do when you're like chilling out or whatever?
Sleep.
Oh, fair. Fair.
Or games and
Yeah, see, I'm not
What's
a gamer, so
the group calls that you do,
Group calls?
where you're speaking to your mates and you're playing FIFA or whatever.
Pro clubs. FIFA.
I used to play pro clubs, actually. I'm glad that's still going.
I ain't played it in a while, but it is still a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that since you got a girlfriend? Now you don't speak to your mates because you've got a girlfriend. Are you
I
one of
haven't
those?
spoke to him in ages.
Wit no.
It's just like every 2 months a message in the group, anyone want to play? Nah, cool.
I could never get my head around that pro clubs.
I enjoyed it, but it caused so much stress. Like that's where friends fall out, I think, pro clubs.
Did you watch the episode with Morgan?
I didn't know. Was he well into his pro clubs?
There's a group of them from here.
All right.
And then if something goes wrong, they'll blame one of two of them.
Yeah.
And then they'll fall out. And one of them will rage quit.
Yeah.
The group, yeah.
Is it Butcher that rage quits?
You don't want to be a goalkeeper in pro clubs, because you will get blamed for every goal that goes in.
You get rinsed, but also it's hilarious.
Yeah, true. But going back to films, if we're talking comedy, I think Rogan said this was his favourite, but Step Brothers.
Yeah.
It is the GOAT. But I've got a massive soft spot for the American Pie films, like especially
brilliant.
those first three. Not
Yeah.
so much Naked Mile and Book of Love and
Yeah, they were a bit shit, I think.
the spin-offs that they did. But it's so iconic, and I think
Was it The Wedding, the last one?
so. They did the Wedding is the third one, and then they
Right.
did the Reunion, which was like 10 years after that.
Yes,
which
yeah,
went
yeah.
back to the like original timeline, if you like. But I think they're so instrumental to. I don't think you'd have got In Betweeners if it wasn't for American Pie. You wouldn't have got Superbad if it wasn't for American Pie.
Mm-hmm.
I recently watched Eurotrip the other day. You wouldn't have got that if it wasn't for American Pie. Like, it's so iconic. And
The In-Betweeners movie is another good one.
well, I love The In-Betweeners as a series.
Yeah.
That's one of the
I was really late to that.
that's one of the things I can watch over and over and over again, and still, similar to Step Brothers, still find it just as funny each and every time.
And the thing is with In-Betweeners is you'll talk to people and they'll make references to In-Betweeners and not know that they're In-Betweeners references as well.
Yeah.
I think it's just become so, mainly in England and the UK, it's become so...
Bus wanker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so ingrained
How many
in
people
British
do you reckon
culture,
go
innit?
bus wankers and don't even know it's from
Yeah.
In-Betweeners?
Yeah. Have you watched In-Betweeners?
I've watched... I say I've watched most of it. I don't think I've watched like every episode, but...
So who would you say you're most like? Because I feel like
I ain't got fucking clue.
I feel like they do reflect society really well.
Yeah.
And like every
Especially
friendship,
for that period of time.
yeah,
as well.
every friendship group like has one of the four.
I'll take a BuzzFeed quiz, see which one I am. I don't think I could say really.
Fairs.
I can't remember their names. Neil was the dopey one, right?
Yeah, Neil's
And
the
was
tall.
Jay the
dopey
one who
Jay's
always
the one who
lied.
lies about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will's the nerd, and then Simon's like the one that's desperately in love with Carly.
Yeah.
And every episode is like a desperate attempt to win her over.
Yeah, I was really late to that. Everyone would speak about it, and I was like, "Oh, it looks shit. It looks shit." Because I'd only seen little bits of it, and I was like, "It's just a rip-off of sort of American Pie, if I
Yeah,
remember right saying
British
that. I think it's
American
just a
Pie.
British version of that."
Yeah.
And KD used to always be like, "You've got to watch it. You've got to watch it." And I watched one episode at his house. Oh my god, I need to watch it all now. So I literally watched every episode. Then the movie came out. I was like, I'm on that.
Yeah.
Have you seen the American In Betweeners?
I've tried, but
Never knew
fucking
that
I've
was a
awful.
thing.
seen little clips on
It's
YouTube.
so bad.
Never knew that was a thing.
It's,
Yeah.
It's like a weird adaptation of it, but they changed most of the jokes to try be more family friendly, and it's just
I couldn't get
Oh,
behind a
holy
lot
shit.
of American stuff that was originally British, though. Like Shameless. I'm a big fan of
No,
Shameless, and I think their version of it was just a bit like it's not the same. It's British humour, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
It just doesn't translate. I don't think.
They've failed at everything except The Office. The Office is the only one where I would actually argue the American version is maybe better than the UK. And even then, the first series of the American Office, they're trying to replicate the British one, like
Yeah.
the stapler in the jelly and stuff like that, and it doesn't quite work. That needed like a few seasons to find its feet and go. Michael Scott doesn't have to be David Brent. Michael Scott can be his own person, kind of
Yeah.
thing, and they kind of became their own characters rather than a US version of their British counterparts, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I felt we're massively tangented off and not even talking about films anymore.
That's kind of what we
that's
do.
what the entire thing is.
You've got a
though.
lot of ADHD and autism here, so
So yeah, so like comedy wise, it's those. If we're going more like the horror route, The Shining's my all time
Great film.
favorite horror film. I love films. A lot of people hate like open ended films where you can kind of make your own assumption on what you think happened or didn't happen and what you think things meant. The Shining's one of those where literally every time I watch it, I get like a little bit of a different take on it and a different perception. The only thing I can never work out is how the fuck he's in that picture from 1922 at the end. All the theories I have about it, that never fits into any of my theories. I don't know how he's in the picture because it's him. Is it an ancestor? I don't know.
not a clue.
I haven't watched it, so.
Okay.
I think
But now I'm gonna do a massive deep dive into it because you've mentioned that there's summit.
when
Yeah.
so I always find when older people to me recommend a film and it's an older film, I struggle to get into it. But once I'm in it, I'm in it.
You realise you
So-
are the older people.
You know,
now.
no. So what I'm saying is now, I don't know if you'd be able to get into it watching it, but once you've done like 10 minutes, now you're invested. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it might be one of them films where if you wanted to watch it and you've not got 10 minutes in, you probably switch it off. But if you get past that first bit of like how different the film quality is and even down to the sound quality, once you can get past that, then I think you're golden and you enjoy it.
I mean, obviously, a bit late, but I can't watch the first two Harry Potter films. Well, I can. I've watched them loads, but I don't like the first two Harry Potter films.
On account of what? You just...
Just the camera.
Fair.
I don't know what it is. It's not even like grainy or anything. I just don't like it.
I'd persist with it though because the first two Harry Potter films are very different to
I've
the
watched
rest.
all of
like
them
you
loads,
notice the
but-
change between the first two and the rest of
The
them.
third Harry Potter film's the best one. But...
It's all too intelligent for my brain. But one of them
Is
films.
Is it
that-
intelligent?
Yeah, I just didn't understand
Really?
it. But one of the films that I struggled to get into, and everyone used to say how good it was, like when I first started to like horror films, people was like, "Have you ever seen any Hitchcock ones?" So
Right.
they're all black and white and shit.
Yeah.
And I could never get into it. And then we went to, was it Disney where they had the Hitchcock experience, or maybe Universal, when I was a teenager, and I had to watch it. And The Birds.
I've seen
Like,
the birds.
Yeah, if you can put
Yeah.
yourself in that time frame
Yeah,
and
yeah.
watch it with that sort of how the world was, holy shit,
Yeah.
great film.
It is great. Psycho's another, like Psycho's that's his masterpiece kind
Yeah.
of thing, the one that everyone talks about with Hitchcock. But yeah, I'm a bit the same. Like I've never watched I never watched Squid Game because I can't follow subtitles.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I can't follow subtitles and I can't do the audio because they're saying different
And
words.
people were saying you
Yeah.
can't watch it dubbed because it takes things away from it. You've got to watch it in its original language. So like,
Nah.
Squid Game, I'll never watch. I've not watched
watched
those
it,
like
yeah.
old school like kung fu films because
See, I used
I
to
can't
watch
get
them.
on board with I can't get on board with dubbing, and at the same time I can't get on board with subtitles. So
They're the only ones that could get in, like with the dubbing.
yeah,
Because I used to watch with my dad, so he was a big Bruce Lee fan.
I
I think he still
is,
probably is. Yeah, to be fair, I think he still, if they're on, he'll still watch them.
Yeah.
And I, as a younger teenager, I didn't really notice the dubbing. When I got into my later teenage years, I thought this is great to take the piss out of. Although I secretly love these movies.
yeah.
And yeah, even now I could probably still sit and watch them.
But yeah, I think if you like, because a lot of people don't like horror films, they don't like to be scared, and I get it. But I always think if you want to try one, I think Shining's a good one to like dip your toe into because it's not that scary. I don't think it's not necessarily gory. You don't have many. You have bits that take you by surprise, but you don't really have any like in your face jump
You're
scares.
supposed to be putting the pieces together, aren't you? I think it's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
about that.
But I love like a psychological thriller and stuff like that. Like I love American Psycho for the exact same reason. You never really know what is and isn't happening, and you can make your own mind up on what you think did or didn't happen at the end. Obviously, a lot of people think that's like lazy filmmaking. That they don't even give you like a concrete ending. But I love that stuff. I love stuff where you can Google it and go on like a Reddit thread and see what
Yeah.
other people thought about it, and then go back and watch it with what they've said, and see if that makes more sense to you or not.
I don't get the Reddit bit, but a YouTube thing where someone explains
Yeah.
it, then you watch it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
I mean, I really like. It's not on the same level, but I really like the Truman Show.
I love Truman
As
Show.
a
Can't watch that anymore.
It gives you paranoia, doesn't it?
Yeah, massive.
Well, that you think you are Truman after watching it.
Like, there's so many, and again, I go down these little wormholes of like, are we all in this little dome and we're being
Yeah.
watched? And then I watch a movie like that, and especially if I've maybe taken something, or then yeah, it's bad times in my
But
brain.
it's like, after watching it, you start noticing, I don't know if you've ever done it, but you'll be like humming a song in your head, or you'll be having it stuck in your head, and then someone will be playing it in the car as they drive
yeah,
by.
yeah,
Yeah,
What
That's,
the
that's them
fuck?
sort of things. Or like
Yeah.
when the school run, it's so roughly the same sort of time of day. Like
Yeah,
sometimes I'm a little
I
late,
think I know
but
where
then you
you're
see the
going
same
with
cars. I'm like, motherfuckers, they're watching me.
No, I thought you were going to go with the whole... I think I was talking to you about if you had to have like a video package made for a big
Yeah.
match. And,
No, it was if I
or a
retired on my
retirement
own
match, yeah.
terms and there was a video package made, what song would it be? That's
and
what you
I
asked
can't-
me.
Yeah, I can't remember what you said. You said Summit by... What's his name?
There was Limp Bizkit, Behind Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
I think that was my funeral one, wasn't it? I said maybe. And then
Summit by...
it was Johnny
Cage?
Cash.
Cash. Yeah.
I can't remember.
You said
which
you
I
said
can't
a Johnny
remember the name
Cash.
of the song.
You said a Johnny
Ain't
Cash
No
song.
Grave.
Yeah, you said that,
Ah,
and
that's
then you went Behind Blue Eyes by Limp Bizkit, and as he said it, fucking switched on in the
Literally,
car.
it was
And
on.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you that fucking like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it was like I was high as fuck and someone was fucking with me.
The plot's so like watertight as well for Truman Show as well. Like every plot hole you can think of like what happens when he gets on a plane. It's like, oh no, they've given him.
Yeah.
There's no planes that go out of where he lives, or
Yeah.
you know, they installed a fear of water, so you never
Couldn't get on a
thought
boat, yeah.
to cross the sea. It's so watertight. But then, and then
I
they
read
even
somewhere that was actually from a real life thing that actually happened.
I don't
what that the
know.
Truman Show is real.
No, that it was based around something real. So they built a dome in like Alaska or something like that. Now this could be like I've just read it and believed it, but there was a lot of stuff out there that's saying it was actually real. It's on my recent Google, so afterwards I'll show you. But
Yeah.
it was it could be someone fucking with me. But I there's a bit of me that goes, I bet they have.
This is the type of guy who falls for AI stuff on Facebook, though. So. He's like adamant that you cannot tell if something's AI. By the way, like he's
Of course you
adamant.
can.
Of course you can.
Some of them, I think it's
Some AI is really, really good. Where
Yeah, but you
it
can
took me a
still
bit to
tell.
clock on. Yeah.
I can only tell when their hands start turning into part of their carrier bag.
Yeah, fair.
I think there's little things we can just look at and go, that's not real. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's uncanny, innit?
A lot of it's like real, and especially when like I saw one with you'll know it being a Spurs fan. There was like an AI'd Ange Postecoglou like press conference where he basically throws all his players under the bus. But because he's that kind of personality anyway, it took a bit where I was like, hang on, is he actually trying to get himself sacked here?
Yeah.
And then I realised, oh, it's AI. It's AI.
So how big are you into your football then?
Quite big. Yeah, I grew up, like I said, I didn't get into wrestling till like 11, 12. And that was mainly because none of my friends really liked wrestling.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, well, where's the joy in it if I can't talk about it with people? So I've always grown up with like football and rugby fans. So I always supported Hull City, and then always supported Hull FC on the rugby side as well. My dad's a massive Arsenal fan, so again,
Boo.
There we go. So I grew up as an Arsenal fan because of my dad, and then when Hull City got into the Premier League,
You saw the light.
well, when Hull City got into the Premier League, I was like, I can't support two teams in the same league. It felt weird to me.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously going to support my hometown team. And then I kind of faded off Arsenal a little bit after that.
Good
What-
choice.
Speaking of, what did you make of Ange getting sacked then? After winning Tottenham a trophy, he's not a fan of it.
Excuse me.
A fan of him getting sacked?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was the most Spursy thing they've ever done.
It is, but...
I get why.
So I got a bit of shit for this in our group chat because they know that I do have like a bit of a soft spot for Arsenal. And they were trying to tell me that Spurs had a better season than Arsenal.
I believe it did.
And I said no, because one team finished second and the other team finished 17th.
Should have been relegated.
The most losses to not get relegated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disgusting. But who had silverware?
But I said, you can say they had a more successful season in the terms of silverware. One team won silverware, the other one didn't. But I was looking at it like week to week and how many times the fans tuned out the games fuming that they'd got beat and how many more losses Spurs had over the season to what Arsenal did. But at the end of the day, people only remember who won
You
trophies.
only look
But
at
if
the
you
stuff
look at
that
it-
was good.
If
Yeah,
you look at it
people
from the
only remember
trophy,
who won
way,
trophies.
who would you say had a better season, Crystal Palace or Tottenham?
Crystal Palace had a better season than Tottenham because they've both won a trophy and Crystal Palace finished higher in the league.
And
And Crystal Palace
Crystal Palace's trophy means more than a Tottenham trophy.
Crystal
somehow.
Palace punched above their expectations by winning an FA
Yeah.
Cup. Whereas Spurs, I know the running joke was they never win anything, but Spurs and United, they were realistically the favourites to
favourites,
win the
yeah.
Europa League anyway.
Even though they were both shit.
Yeah,
Horrendous.
and it was such a low quality final as well.
Oh, again, the most Spurs final
that
you've
was
ever
very
seen.
15th versus 17th, as it
yeah.
could have been, which is what it was.
Yeah, I
All it
mean,
needed to do was be played at Carrow Road, and then and you were
horrendous
sorted.
from Christmas onwards. It was just awful. Same as
Yeah.
Lincoln. Both had awful Christmases onwards and
Yeah, but then,
injuries and whatever. And
then you can make the argument for why Ange should have stayed is it got very clear, and Amorim with United the same. It got very clear they just binned off the league
Yeah.
at a certain point and went, we're just going to focus on Europe. So no wonder they both suffered so many defeats and finished so low in the league.
But I think they did the smart thing. Like, right, okay, we need to rest as many players that have been injured as possible. And again, look at it from a wrestling point of view. Anybody who does sport, whether it's wrestling or whether it's football, we are our own worst enemies. We will carry on when we're hurt. We will do stuff we're told
Yeah.
we shouldn't be doing. Footballers are going to be the same. No matter the pay gap, no matter how we think they're little pussies and they fall over, that they want to play.
Yeah.
So a good manager will say, no, we need to rest you. We need to focus on this. We're going to be, now we know we're safe.
Yeah.
Let's sacrifice everything and go balls deep for that. And I think that was the best thing he could have done with the season they were having.
Yeah, because realistically what's going to happen is you risk it. They were never really going to finish in the top half where they
Nope.
at a certain point it became obvious it was too much of a bridge to climb. So you may as well try and win a trophy, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I do think that Thomas Frank's a good enough manager to come in and do a job again.
I think so, but I think with him it'll go one or two ways. Because I remember when they got Nuno from Wolves, and I was like, he's going to be really good at Spurs, and he was out the door within 8 games or something like that.
That's, again,
And I think
been
Thomas
a regular
Frank
thing.
could be the same.
How
But
many good
Nuno
managers
is
have
a
they
good
got?
Manager, though.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at
exactly.
what he's done at Forest.
Yeah.
How many good managers have Spurs got rid of for seemingly
I
no
mean,
reason?
sacking
Or
Mourinho the day before a cup final was fun, wasn't it?
what was the one that really got me? There was oh god, he was offered the England job, or no, he was in running for the England job.
Conte.
No. Oh my days! Now I look like a right knobhead. Redknapp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the top pitched one by all the red top newspapers that he's going to get the England job,
Yeah.
and you could see kind of distance himself from what was going on at the Spurs, and he was and then he didn't get the England job, and then right, okay, let's knuckle down, let's get Spurs back to where Spurs should be, and they sacked him, and it's like no, he's turned the club around again.
Yeah.
Like he's focusing. Yes, he needs. If you're going to punish a member of staff for not doing their job, he needed the punishment, but sacking him. That was crazy.
And he got him into Champions League as well, didn't
Yeah.
he? Which hadn't been done for a long. And with a relatively low budget squad, you could argue at that time.
I'd say it's always a relatively low budget squad because they're not spending the money that they get in.
Nah, Levy don't put his hand in his pocket, does he?
No. No, there's a joke there that I'm not making because I'm not getting cancelled for it. But stereotypes, that's all I'm saying. Anything else?
I'm not involved.
Sports related, I might cut that bit.
Well, I mean, we were talking about fatigue and injuries a little bit with the Tottenham thing. What do you think about this Club World Cup?
I tried to watch some of it.
Awful, hasn't it?
I watched the Madrid Al Hilal game last night. Well, obviously at the
Right.
time this goes out, it wouldn't have happened last night. I thought it was a decent game actually, but I should like this because it feels like wrestling. It feels like a Royal Rumble. Players coming out individually and getting announced over the tannoy. I can't get to grips with it. Have you seen that at the start where they all come out one by one?
I haven't watched
It's like
a lot
American
of it,
football,
but-
isn't it?
Yeah, they've just Americanized the whole thing.
But, I mean,
Except for the attendance.
The main thing
Yeah.
that I've
Oh.
seen is the superior player of the match.
Yeah, and it's like the venues are just dead as well. And you
no
think
one
about
cares.
it and you go, well, no one cares. And also, these games are being played at like 2 p.m. American time on a Thursday, and people got work.
Yeah.
It doesn't change just because it's over the Atlantic. Do you know what I mean? So
This is like, and it's just extra games for these players. You look at who was I think.
But
it's
aren't the paydays
Pedri.
massive?
I think so. Is it like 100 million for the team that wins it or
Yeah.
Something like that.
Crazy
But you
money.
also look at who was it? I think it was some PSG players played like 270 something games in the span of 2 years. 2-3 years, I think it was.
Maybe 3 because that sounds wild
yeah.
to be
He's
2.
played
but
loads.
if you incorporate in like international tournaments as well,
Yeah.
then yeah, you probably would get close to that. I think.
And it's just like, as much as they are paid a fat wedge to do it, give them a break.
Yeah, because they say don't like. I hate that. You know when you see people like, it'll go on a BBC Sport post and it'll be like De Bruyne complaining there's too many games, and you'll have all the people in the comments saying like, oh well,
I work 9 to
he
5
should get,
every day.
yeah, should get on a building site or whatever. And it's like, he's not saying, oh, I don't want to play every single day, because physically he is capable of playing every single day.
Performance
But,
drops.
but to the intensity that is required at top level, you can't play that regularly. And I think that's what people don't understand. It's not just a case of, oh, is he fit enough to play every single day? Cause
But again, like
probably,
a wrestling
yeah.
fan, everyone's an armchair critic, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they think they know best.
Yeah.
You know, like we season ticket holders at Lincoln, and you hear some people make these comments, and you join in as a fan. You're like, get the fuck off the floor. And then you realise the reason they take the tumble, one, they're trying to win the foul. We know that. There's a lot of selling going on.
Great sell.
But also, drop and roll prevents injury.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of the time they are thinking, look, I want to play the next 80 minutes. You know, we're 10 minutes in. I'm not taking a broken ankle. I'm going to drop and roll. So, yeah.
And people think they can play as well. Like, there was a thing I saw where it said you could either, it was like a what would you rather kind of thing. And it was, you either get £1 million, just no questions asked, you get £1 million. Or you gamble to try and win 10 million. And what you do is you play 90 minutes in the Premier League. You can play up front, you can play for Man City, and you have to score a goal. Do you fancy your chances to do it?
No.
No. That is the right
No.
answer. You've missed out on £1 million because you've gambled it for, you're never going to score. A regular person playing in, even if you was on penalties, I would still back a Premier League goalkeeper to know where I'm going to go and save it.
I think penalties is always a lottery though.
Do you think? So you would back yourself to score?
I'm not saying I'd back
a pen.
myself to score a penalty against a Premier League keeper. That would be mental. But you've got to think everything about a penalty is just, that's it, mental.
Yeah.
I think
I don't
also
think the technique
people,
of a penalty matters at all. As long as it's on target, it's all mental.
the average person, I don't think also realise how big some of these football players are.
Massive.
They're not bodybuilders. Like, I'm
I
not saying
know.
that, but they're tall guys. They're all
Yeah.
like 6 something.
There was
And you're talking like to a 5'4" guy in a bar who's going, I could play better. Fuck off. No fucking way you're heading that ball.
You wouldn't play
You
90
haven't got the
minutes.
pace that they've
Yeah.
got. You know, you're not doing, you're not even
look at,
completing the warm up, mate.
You'd want to be subbed off after 10, 15 minutes, I reckon.
You look at, there was something that came from that Club World Cup, the referee cam in the
Yeah,
Chelsea
yeah.
game, and there was a clip of it. I think it was Pedro Neto's goal. The speed of play for just what is a stock standard goal, it's fucking mental, innit?
Yeah, I've seen those body cams. I think someone did it for like a pre-season game. I think it was like Tillemans for Villa or something.
Tielemans for Villa, yeah.
And
I've
it was
seen
like it was a pre-season tournament, but you still got no time on the ball. Like you get the ball and you have to make your choice within less
Yeah.
than a second of where you're going to give it, or someone will intercept it. And that's a pre-season game as well, where it's not even 100% intense. People don't realize like how hard top level football is going to be because they make it look so easy. Same as wrestling, you know. Like I mean, like you see a botch on WWE and it's like crazy. Like, oh my god, I saw a botch, but you don't.
You try it.
It's
dickhead.
because you're so fine-tuned
Yeah.
to everything looking perfect in
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
massively.
I reckon the only way you could score a Premier League goal as a regular, just Donny, is a corner.
Scoring from a corner, or
Well, you've got to think there's a ball whipped into the back stick. It's been flicked on twice. It's nodded off your shin. I
yeah,
remember.
You've got to think a lot of people who talk about this haven't played like competitive football since they were at school.
Yeah.
So when you're getting hit in the head, yes, you're going for a header, but when you're getting hit with one of them balls,
sucks.
I think they've
Yeah.
forgotten how much it hurts. So that whole thing of going up for the header isn't as easy as people want to believe it is anymore.
I remember a goal. I think it was Jack Grealish's first goal for City, where it proper bounced off his quad, and it was the scrappiest goal ever. That's the only way you're scoring as a
where you go, I would.
as a
score that.
regular person. That's the only way you're scoring.
Yeah, yeah.
This week's episode of the Lad and Dad podcast is sponsored by Muscle Juice. Scan the QR code and type in FFW10 for your 10% discount. They are suppliers of energy drinks, flapjacks, protein mousse and all sorts of other wonderful supplements.
So we're back after a little battery change. So let's go to, where are we? Your funny stories.
So, when I listened to Rogan's, he told you the one, didn't he, about me, him, Reese, and Hadman Dan when we all went down to
Yes.
Hastings, the IWN one, where our match ended up being like 4 minutes, and we just got our asses handed to us, basically. There's actually a sequel to that, which I thought Rogan was going to tell you, and then didn't, so I'm going to swoop in and tell you part
Here we
2,
go.
and just claim credit for the whole thing. So yeah, the IWN thing happened, the 5-hour car journey, they're planning the match over and over, and then it's 4 minutes,
4
and
minute
you
squash
4
match
minutes
for
and you're
that,
getting
yeah.
squashed, right? Which me and Dion were cool with, and like, you know, we knew the objective was they were getting pushed hard as this tag team, so we knew 2 new people coming in, and that's probably the way it's going to go anyway, so we were totally fine. And anyway, a bit of good stuff came from it, because there was a guy that was filming the show, a guy called Aaron Nix, who was, I don't think he is anymore, but he was co-running his own promotion. I can never remember if it's Southampton or Bournemouth, but either way, South Coast.
Southampton rings a bell.
Yeah, it could be Southampton. Called BCD, Behind Closed Doors, which, for a promotion that's actively trying to sell tickets to people, calling it Behind Closed Doors was a bit strange for me. But it was a well-attended show, and I thought a name like that I thought would have been perfect for like COVID, call a promotion Behind Closed Doors Wrestling. But anyway, I digress. It's not my promotion. He was filming it. He really liked us, and he was like, "Oh, it's just a bit of a shame your match was so short. I'd like to see you 4 again, but do like a proper long. I'll just give you like 20, 25 minutes."
Just side note, he's a Lincoln fan as well as Aaron.
Oh, I don't know how, because is he a Southerner, or is he from these
he's
parts?
originally from Lincoln,
Is he
yeah.
from these parts? Fair enough. Great guy, actually.
Yeah, he is.
And so we go down a few months later, again another like 6-hour car journey, but this time it's like you've got your 20 to 25 minutes, and so planning the match and whatever. And that was the first experience in my career where we were about to go out for our match because we was going to be on 3rd, and then they came to us right before and said, "Oh, we switched it. You're not on 3rd anymore. You're on 5th." Something to do with the way it had worked out in the second half. Someone, because I think they were doing a tournament, So someone was going to have to wrestle like back-to-back matches to make the tournament all work. So we got sandwiched in between the tournament. But that's never happened to me before, where someone's come up to us right before we're about to go out and go, oh, we're putting another match on now instead.
Has that never happened here to you?
No.
Holy shit.
My order's never been changed.
I don't remember last time an order has been changed.
It's been a few times.
I'm glad it happened that way and not the other way, because I get
Getting told
I
what's
get
going on
changed
now,
really late as well. So if I'm on in the second half, I won't get changed until the interval. I don't quite understand when people are main event, but they get changed at doors like everyone else. It builds up too much nervousness, I think. So I'm glad it didn't go that way. But anyway, we go out and me and Hadman Dan do our entrance. And then Hadman Dan whispers in my ear, he goes, which part of the Shan is Rogan going to change for this one then? And then with that, their music hits and they come out and Rogan gives me this shit-eating grin where we both make eye, and it's like he knows I know. He's just decided to change everything once again. And the match happens and I just get the absolute chopped the shit out of me for the entire shine. I'm getting, because of like the black shirt and trousers combo, I'm getting IRS chants, which I've never had before, but I was quite grateful for it. And we did have this really, it's on YouTube, we did have this really, really great 20-minute match. It's real long, like one of the longest matches I've probably done, to be fair. Real fun. But
I think I've mentioned the match with you and Rogan before on the pod a few times. I think I mentioned it a few times there. It was on a camp show. You just kicked the fuck out of each other.
Yeah, he didn't care. I remember him saying to me as well, like, when we were driving down to do the show, he was like, I know it's not really like a camp show kind of thing, but I kind of want to have like a hard-hitting match. And I was like, I'm cool with it, because I can take chops. Like I'm totally fine with it. But I was a little bit like, oh, do we just stick to? And I remember was thinking that we took like a bit of a gamble, but everyone seemed to enjoy it, and the crowd seemed to like it as well. That we'd thrown that like sort of camp show style out the window a little bit.
Right, there was a table of a couple of blokes that weren't really there for the wrestling.
Yeah.
And when you guys were out there, they were like, holy shit, and they were kind of.
It was
they were involved.
Yeah.
It was one point in the match, I can't remember what it was. I think he just gave you a massive chop in the corner, throws you out, you roll it, he just comes in gut kick for the hardest angel wings I think I've ever heard to the back. Fucking hell. I think if there's any footage of it, there's got to be some kind of footage from that match, because I think we filmed a few camp show matches. I don't know if that's one of them.
Yeah, unless Quill was on it, because I know he likes to bring his camera, but
you can just see me die in the corner watching it, and I didn't take it.
The moral of the story is, if ever you're planning a match with Rogan, don't take into account what he says, because he'll just change everything as soon as the bell rings. And we say this like he's been a bully, like chopping me and stuff like that. He is one of the most giving pro wrestlers that I've ever been in the ring with. He will chop you and go, sorry mate, and give you the hardest chop of your life, but he will let you receipt him somewhat, and he will let you get your stuff in on him, and he'll sell his ass off for you. I can't remember the last time he took a normal front bump. He spikes everything. That is his trademark at this point.
There was I think it was the Body Slams Rumble, which you won actually, and I was watching it on the apron because I was reffing at the time, and I'll give this credit to both Rogan and Reese. I don't know why I've said it that way round, so that's weird. One of the Academy lot had Reese, and they were working together, and he just goes to him, give me DDT. And I heard the call. I was like, okay, wow. He goes for the DDT, and he sells the shit out of it for... Oh, who was it who did it?
Tobias, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah,
he just sold the fuck
actually.
out of it.
1 foot hit, and now...
Oh, Big T with a gigantic DDT.
A big DD.
And I was watching like, what have I just seen?
Yeah, because I mean, it's his story to tell, but I think Tobias's parents maybe came up to Rogan backstage and was like really like, oh, like our son like loved that kind of thing, and like you created like this great moment for him of like a real. He's not just an established guy in FFW. He's Rogan and Reese are established guys.
They were literally top heels at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Heading into that Body Slams, because when they were doing the stuff for you. Because the same Rumble, I eliminated him.
Yeah.
And I think he's really good at. He's never lost that. What would have made me feel good when I was a kid watching it. Do you know what I mean?
We've spoken about that a few times.
He's never lost that little boy that that's into wrestling now. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first few times I worked with them, there was always a little sorry. Like if they and I like to be hit. Like if I chose how I would prefer to work, let's make it look real. You know,
Yeah.
Do the ha stuff and whatever and all the other little bits. But if we're punching, let's make it look authentic, so no one can slow it down on their phone. So every now and then there'd be a sorry, no, keep it. And then by the end of the last match I did with them, there was none of that. And yeah, and both of them, they come. Well, all of you guys who come from Hull, you all come with ideas, and you all come with this, but it's never set in stone. You're always like, but what do you guys want to do?
Yeah, because I think it's a collaboration, isn't it? And it's like I've been praised before for like, oh, Jack's good because Jack's really easy to work with.
Yeah.
But in my mind, that should be the neutral setting. People shouldn't have to be praising me for saying that I'm not difficult to put a match together with. But
But
that's
there
the
are a
way
lot
the
of
wrestling
difficult
works,
people
isn't
out
it?
there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've come across any yet, but there are a lot. I'm not going to name and shame. I'm not going to be a dick about it.
No.
It'd be too easy. But there's one woman in particular who's very, very famous, who she was very difficult to work alongside.
Yeah.
Again, if I said a little bit, it'd give it all away to those who know. So, and then there's some again another guy who has got very, very big very recently. Didn't want to give anything to one of the guys who was originally from here.
Okay.
And again, I'm not gonna.
I may know who
name
that
it,
is
yeah,
because I've heard stories about that. If it's the same person.
If it is, I know
I ain't got a fucking clue.
your mum really doesn't like him either.
Oh, okay, now I do.
So yeah, there are a lot of difficult people out there. But
Yeah.
on the other side of it,
Politics, brother.
No, it's not politics. I started to become that way with certain things. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to do that because I've been fucked for many years.
Yeah, that's you protecting your health,
That's
though,
going
isn't
in the
it?
blue
But
parade,
it's
isn't it?
not about protecting my health. It's about protecting other people. So, like, if I said, yeah, I'm going to pick you up for this, but I know there's a risk that it's going to hurt me, well, that risk now increases that I'm going to drop you on your head.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, would it be classed as being difficult? Because there are times where I've said, we're not doing that. It's not fucking happening. And I've had to change it in there, like, change your plan, mate. Boom. This is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, I've got to think of the other person, and I've got to think, you know, yes, they're growing up now, but I've still got kids at home. So,
Yeah.
is it being difficult? I don't know.
You got to find the balance, aren't you? I think.
But it's still trying to get the best out of the
Yeah.
other person.
Yeah.
And again, you guys always have, okay, right, I've watched you do this. I've seen you on the shows doing this.
Yeah.
I've heard you with other people. You know, it's such a good quality when there are so many shitty people still. Not every, not every company's got shitty people there.
No.
But there are still a good handful of shitty people.
Yeah. I mean, like whenever I'm booked to like wrestle someone that I haven't wrestled before, that's the first thing I'll do is go on YouTube and see what matches I can
See what
find
tape
and
you
go,
can
well, I know they do these moves, and how can I reverse that move, or how can they reverse one of my moves into
How
one
can
of
we tease
theirs,
it
and so you're not just turning up with like, what do you want to do? I don't know. That's like my biggest pet peeve is when people don't have ideas of what they want to do. I always try and that when you turn up and it's like, what do you do? Even stuff like, what do you want to do? Oh, I don't really know. It's like they kind of like groan at you, and it's like, do you actually even want to be here? Or
I used to have this bit of a thing where I hated where promoters go, you just do you. But I'd also hate it if they give you a script.
yeah,
This is what I want from the match. This is a story for this guy going forward. So I know if I'm only there for one show, how can I think, okay, this is where he needs to go?
yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's feeding into the calzone thing. Choice, but not too much choice.
Yeah.
I want direction, but I don't want to be micromanaged on what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I've told you the story. I probably have before. But there was one show that I went to, and again, I'm not going to name it. I'm not going to give too much detail.
Oh, God.
But we were literally given a script, move for move, of what we're doing.
That'd be insane.
I looked at the other three guys in the match. I was like, that's not happening. And they were like, oh, this is what we're doing.
I would be
We're
up for
fucking
learning
not.
that though, because
But if my argument to it was, you've booked us for what we do.
yeah,
So why are you changing everything we do?
Yeah.
So we can tell the story that you want. This is the end point, and this is what you want for the end point. More than happy to do that because that's our role. That's our cog. But the moveset, you should. Surely you're booking us on what you've seen. To travel that far,
Yeah.
you must be booking us for what you've seen and what you know of us. Like,
yeah, true. Yeah, I don't want to be told to do a suplex. Do you know? Like, yeah, there is that like anti-authority thing in our brains that are like, if you're telling me to do a suplex, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
A suplex.
right, we'll set it up.
Yeah.
Small package.
Yeah.
That guy went into business for himself. I swear it wasn't me. Have you got advice for new people coming into the business?
So backing on what we've just said, turn up to matches with ideas. You'll do a world of good, because I just think when other people have got to effectively like plan stuff for you, it just makes the whole match planning process just longer, and then you start stressing out because then it takes you longer to put it together, which means you've got less time to like think it through and stuff like that. So I'd say always show up to matches with ideas, even if it's just like one move or one reversal. At least it's something. And I think the main one I would say is enjoy the journey. Don't think too much about the destination. Obviously, have goals that you want to achieve and that you want to drive towards and work towards achieving. Even if that's as ambitious as like, I want to have a WrestleMania moment. Reach for the stars, go for it. But just don't take your eyes off what's going on around you, because I think when you do that, you start to get a little bit complacent.
You miss so much cool shit.
Yeah, you miss the cool shit that you look back on and you go, oh, I never took pride in that when it happened. And I think it makes you entitled a little bit towards the bookings that you have, because you're like, well, my goal is to get here, so this show doesn't really mean much to me. When I think you should always look back to when you very first started training, and like that idea of doing my first match in front of an audience was this big, huge deal. And I don't think you should ever lose sight of that. I think every booking should not be taken for granted.
I can't remember who it was, but you've told me this story about one of the bigger British names got scouted from just some random bingo hall in Mansfield, didn't they?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but it was this little town show, and that's pretty much where they got signed, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's how it happens a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You know, you could be at your Rev Pro or your Progress and your ICW, but you could be in a working man's club in like the back end of Leeds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it can literally, if they want to come and look at you, they'll come and look at you. If they see that footage on YouTube, doesn't matter what the audience is, what the size of the audience is, or what the venue is. It's what you're doing. You know, you should always act professional. There's going to be times where you're going to be pissed off and you're going to maybe say and do things that are out of character, but the first word in the job is professional.
Yeah.
So, what about someone who's never been in a match, though, or not, you know, they've never been into a wrestling gym and they want to? Have you got any advice for someone like that?
I would say for that one, it's a pretty common quote, but comparison is the thief of joy. So if you start training, don't beat yourself too much that, oh, I don't feel like I'm picking things up as quickly as this person, or I'm not progressing as much as I would like. Everyone's journey is different.
Yep.
Some people, unfortunately, just are like prodigies and just are naturally gifted at it. Unfortunately, in the sense of I don't feel like I am, and it's like I remember the first time I met Leon Slater at PPW. Like this 17-year-old kid walks in, and it's like he's already better than everybody else.
But he had that from such
You had a
young
match
age.
with him when he was like 12, didn't you?
Yeah.
He was really young,
and it's like
you could see it then.
Yeah,
You could see the building blocks for what he could be with there.
yeah. And it's like we would do those when PPW first became a thing. We would do those sessions with Liam, and he just pick stuff up like that, where it's like he'll show something and he'll just smash it immediately. Whereas I'm more of a like, it might take me 2 or 3 attempts to get it, but I will get there eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say. Don't beat yourself up on if you think your peers are progressing quickly than you are.
There'll always be something where you'll probably take it up better than they will as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
we all have our strengths, don't we?
Going back to like football, there's always going to be a Jamie Vardy as well. Like, he was at Fleetwood at like 27, and he's won the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm harking onto a bit. Now I'm like, because I'm at that age now where I'm like, if I was a footballer, I should be entering my prime years now. So I'm a bit like, it's got to happen.
But you got to think some wrestlers
soon
go
for
to
me.
their 60s.
Wrestling's
so-
different. I think people
Wrestling's so weird.
are peaking later on in wrestling now.
I was thinking about this the other day, and if I were to have like a successful career with not minimal, but not loads of injuries and not loads of high-end injuries, I could be doing this for like 40 years.
Possibly, yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone pile drive me. I don't...
Yeah.
No, but if you have fun,
Yeah.
and you can carry on. Like Aaron said last week, Valentine said last week.
Yeah.
Like living the dream. Like he is just having fun. He's not in it for the money. He's not in it to
Main
travel.
thing. Yeah.
It's just this. He's got such a stressful day job, and you know the real world is
Shit.
fucking awful at the minute. Like. It's just he's having fun. He's being with people. Can he pass something down to the next guy who wants to make a career of it? You know, live the fucking dream. You know, if
Yeah.
you do it for 10 years, if you do it for 5 years, if you do it for 5 minutes, just enjoy it.
Yeah. I
You
think
know?
that is the main thing. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you're good enough, it will come to you.
Yeah.
You know. So.
So, viewers' questions. Did I screenshot any to you?
Don't think so. I think this one was very late notice
Yeah, I'm
announcement.
awful at doing the advertising side
It's
of
fine
it.
if no one gave
But
a shit and no
so
one
we
wants to
have
ask any
got-
questions.
There's a regular one.
There is a regular question that we forgot to ask for I think we've forgotten a few times now.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
From Nikki Smith. And if you've watched the pod, you already know what's coming. If you had to name your two big toes, what would you call them?
Bill and Ben.
I think that's the fastest
That
answer
is
we've ever had
literally
to
the
that question.
fastest.
Have you thought about this?
Maybe. I do think I definitely listened to the Rogan one, but there was another one. I don't think the toe question was in the Rogan one. There was another one I listened to where it came up, and immediately then I was like, it'd either be Bill and Ben or Ant and Dec. It's got to be like a famous double
I
act.
was banking on you saying Reese and Rogan. I was like, he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Nah, fuck that.
Yeah, I don't know if there was anything else sent in because I only put this out yesterday, I think. So on Tuesday or Wednesday, I only put it out because I'm an idiot. So your Hall of Fame, so you get to pick a personal people and a moment. And again, it can be wrestling, it can be real life. So your moment could be something that happened. Personal life can be something that happened within wrestling. The same with people. It can be like your favourite wrestler or the thing that got you, the people that got you into it, anything.
Right. Okay. So this is actually going to test my knowledge on who actually is in the Hall of Fame or not. I'd definitely, if he's not already, I'd definitely put Rey Mysterio in the Hall of Fame. Rey Mysterio was the one who got me into wrestling because I was always like the smallest kid in the class at school, and then sort of seeing Rey Mysterio and seeing him do these matches against like Big Show and Great Khali where he would like be competitive and he would knock him down to his size and stuff. I found him so inspirational. Also, he looked really cool with the bright coloured gear and stuff
When
like
he had
that, and
the baggy trousers.
the baggy trousers,
They
yeah,
looked
with a hat, with a half
They
mask.
looked incredible.
Yeah. So Rey Mysterio was the one who got me into wrestling. So if he's not in the Hall of Fame, which he inevitably will be, like he's going in my Hall of Fame.
I think he was in the Hall of Fame same year as he had his match with Dom because they did summit in his
Fair.
speech.
But
didn't
this is your personal Hall of
Yeah.
Fame anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And then if we're going down the more kind of like closer to me, it's obviously going to be a very like generic, for lack of a better term, answer. But I'm probably putting my parents in the Hall of Fame as well.
Have they got to watch you wrestle before?
They have. So they used to, when I was doing like the proving grounds at NGW, they would come to the shows a lot. And there was a real cool moment with my dad actually, because my dad took me to see my first wrestling show, which was at the Eastmount Centre in like 2009. That was, like I said, that was when I first realised wrestling existed outside of the confines of WWE. And in the opening match was Dara Diablo.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2019, in like my 5th ever match, I was wrestling at Eastmount against Dara, and my dad was in the crowd. Dara doesn't actually know that story. That'll make him feel really, really old. But, I've never told that. I've never said that to him before.
I don't know
That was a
anybody
real
who
cool
says
full
thanks
circle.
for making us feel old, just so you know. Like, we never feel good about feeling old.
But that was like a real cool full circle moment.
Yeah. Dara's such a cool guy as well.
Incredible. I learned so much off him because my like first full year in wrestling, I got the opportunity to go and do shows over the summer at a place called Barmston. You guys came and did the ring crew for one of them. Because I remember speaking to you and you was like,
Yeah, I know what you
"Oh,
mean.
what?
Yeah.
That was like your 10th ever match or something."
Yeah,
You
I
just
know
seemed-
exactly the camp you mean.
Yeah. And I was pretty much wrestling Dara in singles matches all the times on those camps to sort of get me my reps in and so that I could learn from him. And he was the first person that made me realise, like, actually putting a match together doesn't have to be so stressful. And, like, as long as you both know what stuff you do, it's so easy to just put it together like a little Rubik's Cube kind of thing.
It started as you putting your parents in the Hall of Fame. I think
And now it's Dara. Now Dara's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Yeah, you can have multiple people.
Yeah.
Well, Dara, again talking full circle, Becca went to school with his brother.
All right.
So she's known him for,
Yeah.
well, what's your mum's age now? Like
600,
740?
yeah.
So she's known him a long time.
Yeah.
I'm actually not going to say anything because you'll twist it into me. Do you know, I was on call with my girlfriend earlier because you've done so many of the edits in the little, not blooper reels, but quite blooper reels.
Yeah.
Her mum saw the one where you made it look like I was taking the piss out of her, and she ran in while they were on call talking about it. So he finds himself funny, doesn't he?
All right, there's another funny story coming out of them things that I put together, but we'll go into that afterwards.
Oh no.
So the opposite to Hall of Fame is blackballing. Anything from your own, like, if you could get rid of it, it's gone forever. What would it be?
Well,
Silly or serious?
After
as well.
today getting here, I'm putting diversions
Oh,
in the blackball list.
So that Hastings journey,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I used to do that quite a bit for EWW.
Yeah.
And there was one time it sent us through London, and then there was roadworks there, and it sent us right across the country to come back on ourselves. I think it was like 8 hours.
Yeah, there's a real weird bit as well on that trip to Hastings where you go down the narrowest of country lanes, and it's not like a one-way one as well. It's the scariest road I've ever been down in my life. I remember that was right before we got into the town. Maybe that was the way we took it or whatever, but diversions are 100% in there.
There's a fun one in Norwich that's like that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Norwich is just a ball ache to get to anyway because it doesn't like the
'Cause it's
motorway.
Norwich, yeah.
It doesn't like the motorway, does it? So
No.
for Hull, all you should be doing is just going around a little corner, and it takes like 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, the Norwich one, obviously doing a few camps that way a few years ago as well. If you were stuck behind a tractor, that was it.
Yeah.
You were fucked.
Yeah, I risk it a bit now when I'm behind tractor. I'm like, oh, can I get
But if
past
you take
him?
in a
And then
van-
it's like, oh no, yeah, true.
Sometimes we
There's
were
not
in the
enough
van, so
room.
we'd take our ring, or we'd done one of the shows
Yeah.
sort of closer to here and then got down to Yarmouth by the end of the night, and then because
Yeah,
we're in the van, there's no point coming back to Lincoln, swapping to a car, and oh my days, that was awful.
yeah.
Awful.
So diversions are getting blackballed, and then if we're going like a wrestling sense, although it's not even wrestling, it's real life as well. I'm probably blackballing egos just because I think. I might sound like a little bit of a hippie when I say this, but I do firmly believe like no one is better than anyone else. We are all the same, and it's probably why I don't really get like starstruck, or I don't really buy into like celebrity culture and stuff anymore, because I just think everyone's the same.
Yep.
But like within wrestling as well, WWE, I kind of get it where there's ego and politics because there's so much money involved there. But on like a British wrestling level, sorry to like take the glamour away from it, no one's really,
No one gives
no
a
one's
shit.
making enough money. No one's really a draw in British wrestling. So like, why would you turn up to a show like in a mood because I'm not going over tonight, or they're telling me that I'm dropping the belt. I don't think it's the right time. Like, who cares?
Contain yourself.
Who cares?
It's not real.
It's not. So to break people's
Let's
hearts.
break it to you.
Yeah.
There are some people that need that memo.
Yeah.
But
You are effectively like a paid actor, and the show is the film. You're not going to be the main character that saves the day every single time. It's just not the way it goes.
the amount of times we've had people within the business and fan-wise say, oh, why don't you bring in all these Americans? Well, when the opportunities come and the price is right and everything matches up and the stars are aligned, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? But the focus is they're not here week in, week out.
Yeah.
You know, so... And not only that, like, the only time we've seen a massive difference in people attending and turning people away, Body Slams to Cancer, hardly ever do we use big star value.
The show
names.
sells itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times where we've turned people away. We sold out. And then Too Cool when we had them.
Right. Yeah.
Like, other than that, as Becca and I running this, and I say I mean her,
Very
just my
loosely,
name on the paperwork. There's very little change in who we bring in if it changes the draw.
Yeah.
It's the word wrestling that sells.
I agree.
So to yes, you might be more experienced, you might be more talented, but you're not a better. You know, no one's better than anybody.
No, and just because you might have had more success in your field, it doesn't give you the right to speak down to people and treat them like shit. You know what I mean?
Haven't you noticed though, like with any guys who's been to WWE that you may have crossed paths with, whether that's they've been a main draw at WWE or they've just been there for a cup of coffee, they tend to be less ego
Yeah.
than some of the people who want to get to
Yeah,
WWE.
I thought when you started talking, then I thought you was gonna say, "Oh, have you met people who was in WWE where they like think they're big time?" And it's like, no, like I spoke to like Amir Jordan and like Joseph Connors like just the other week at PWR, and they're like so chilled out backstage. Like I forgot to say hello to Amir Jordan, right? And then like that old school thing went through my brain of like, oh, he's gonna think I'm a prick because I didn't come and shake his hand and say hello to him, like old school wrestling etiquette kind of thing. And he was just like, I'm not bothered.
Yeah. But there's only once where I've ever seen that. And again, I'm not going to name who it is. But he is American.
Yeah.
But only once have I ever seen
Yeehaw.
that. Massive ego.
That's not relevant to anything, the yeehaw. It's just America, isn't it? I don't want people drawing lines off that. I don't know who you're on about.
No, but again, most of the Americans who we've crossed paths with, whether it's here, whether it's we've been hiring, whether I've worked with them or whatever, nicest people.
Yeah.
You know, like absolutely willing to, when someone comes on, can you watch this and please give me any feedback?
Yeah.
And they will. And, you know, like you say, that the British guys who have been to WWE, exactly the same. You know, if they don't need to be ready for a match, if they're on before or whatever, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who go, who the fuck are you? No.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. Egos need to get the fuck in the bin.
Yeah.
No room for it. Yeah.
There's no point taking yourself that seriously as well. Like,
you're wearing fake tan, baby oil, and lycra, and you're play fighting essentially.
and like that's really dumbing it down. And I know you can like dumb down everything and go like, well, football's just 22 people kicking a ball into a net. Like, how can you get so invested in it? I get it, but like at the same time, if you take yourself that seriously, where you're like, oh, I've got to be a fucking badass all the time, try and do MMA or boxing or something like that. Like, I think you'd have a much better time doing that. Because
do you know people get offended by saying that though?
Really? Like, I just think, I know people hate the word sports entertainment, but wrestling
That's what it is.
Wrestling has always been entertainment. Even if it is the sport, you know, catch as catch can, it's still an entertainment show at the end of the day.
But when you break it down, if you're paying for a ticket to watch boxing or UFC, it's entertainment.
True. Yeah.
Also, UFC
but like
is just
genuinely,
sports entertainment.
the amount
Wishes
of
it was
people,
WWE.
Again, you've travelled to quite a few wrestling training schools, gyms, however you want to call them. You must have seen the new guy girl walk in, and I want to be a badass that no one can beat up, and da 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 da. Da. And it's like, no, if you want to do that, go and train at a real sport. Here, you're entertaining. You're scripted to win or lose, and you know things happen out there that we don't always, we're not able to predict all the time. You know, but don't take yourself so serious. And genuinely, we've had people walk in the door here who've gone, "Oh, well, if I can't be that, I'm off."
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Yeah, I think especially if you're like a heel as well, like the whole point is that you end up with egg on your face. And I take wrestling really seriously as far as like the grind and the travel and the mileage, and both physically and what it actually puts on your body and stuff like that, and mentally and all that. And it is a grind, and it can be a slog sometimes. But the character of Jack Maxwell, I don't take seriously within that world of wrestling, because I understand it's an entertainment
character.
show and it's a gimmick, and like, if someone wants to pitch a spot that's going to make me look a bit stupid, if I'm the heel and if they pop for it and if it makes sense in the storyline,
There's
Go for it.
payoffs, isn't there? There's
Go
built-in
for it,
payoffs.
yeah.
And I this is a few years ago. An argument happened with two people, and again, I'm not going to name them as much as I'd love to. I'm not going to name them. An argument happened because one person's character in a wrestling promo said something about another person's character. So make-believe person 1 insulted make-believe person 2, and they got upset about it and fell out and threw the person out of their dressing room.
damn. Yeah.
Wow. My make-believe character's feelings are hurt, so therefore mine are. Grow the fuck up.
I know.
And again, like, protect your characters. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're the villain,
Protect your characters, but don't be a bitch.
yeah.
That's why, like, I don't know if this is me, like, I wrestled, we did a tag. This was before she went back to Germany or Belgium, where Laurie.
Yeah.
But I did, like, a tag
It's
against
the second
her.
person who's called a Laurie.
Well, what is it?
Laurie.
Laurie, okay.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is it the whole thing? Yeah.
And, like, she actually is a badass as well. So I was, like, more than happy to, like, bump around for her and
this
stuff
shit,
like
yeah.
that. I wanted to do, like, a singles match with her, really. I mean,
Did you not get to?
No. She was the champion at the time as well, and she'd messaged me after the tag saying that she'd enjoyed it, and she was like, oh, maybe we can do a singles down the line, but then she had the back issue and stuff like that. But yes, it's 2025. Like, I don't care about stuff like that. I'll bump
I
around for
remember-
I've
women,
never understood
especially
that.
when she's believable
I
as
remember
well.
there was a match that was put out on YouTube. I think it was her versus Paul Malin at Body Slams one year. And one of the comments was about, oh, this is woke, this is woman woman wins.
We've had that a few times, yeah.
Woke
Laurie-
nonsense.
Woke nonsense. Why is a female wrestling a male?
Laurie could kick the fuck out of basically anybody.
But, like, I've wrestled Laurie. I couldn't even tell you how many times.
So, yeah.
For different people and different venues and different types of shows. Eliza a couple of times. Scarlett down at EWW.
Julia.
Nightshade.
Yeah.
You know, I've never in a show wrestled Julia.
Have you not?
I've been part of segment, but never wrestled her on a show. And yes, like no time in my head did it ever cross my mind to go, can't wrestle a woman.
Yeah.
We're both doing the same job.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Gender, race, none of it matters
No.
when you're in there. It's like you said a bit ago, you're actors in the show in that respect.
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Yeah.
If you can do the job and make it look like the promoter wants it to look like, where's the question in it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a massive fan of intergender wrestling. Some of my favourite
I don't
matches
even like
are...
that intergender wrestling, but as a hashtag,
It's just
it gets
wrestling.
views.
should just be wrestling.
It's just
yeah.
wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we do it as a hashtag because it does get views.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's something that people do search massively.
Yeah. What?
That there was a match in Lucha Underground where I think it was
Chelsea Green.
Kairi Sane and Penta had a good match.
I think Chelsea Green wrestled Penta as well.
No, Chelsea Green did as well, but mine is the Kairi Sane one, and I think Io had one as well, didn't she? With Penta and Lucha Underground, and they were just also good. There's so many great matches out there that are.
You end up forgetting
wrestling.
about it as well. Like, you know, whenever like I've teamed with Eve Bateman and stuff like that, we've never gone like, oh, we're a mixed tag team. We're just a tag team, and you can put us against two guys. You can put us against a guy and a girl. You can put us against two girls. I don't genuinely would not make the blindest bit of difference to me.
No, not at
And
all.
you don't need to advertise it as we've got a special attraction intergender match. It's just a match.
Completely agree, and I could go on a massive tangent about that, but I'm not going to because I've seen what sort of time we're at. So is there anything you'd like to plug? Absolutely anything.
So the show, June 28th, could be my last match in Fight Factory if you haven't got a ticket. It's looking a really strong card, actually. I'm not just saying, like, obviously, mine and KD's matches is probably the one that has the most build-up, for lack of a better term. But, like, I think it's looking a pretty top card all the way through, so buy tickets that. The week after, I don't know what my future looks like, but the PPW versus FFW, I'm sure, will be a good show.
Just to go on what's recently happened in WWE, is it Jack Maxwell could be gone, but someone else could come back? I just want to put that out there to the universe. So could we be seeing a new person at that show if...
El Grande Maxwell Cano or something. I don't know. I don't think
I
a
would be
lucha
close
gimmick
to
could
it.
work for me. I wouldn't be able to breathe in the mask. I don't think it'll work for me.
I could not wrestle in a mask.
Nah,
I mean, I've never tried it.
I couldn't.
Is there any other shows that you've got coming up in the next...
Yeah, so I've got Planet Wrestle, which are a really fun promotion to work for. I've got them on Sunday. That's going to be at the Bradford Bulls Stadium.
On Sunday? Which one?
No, Sunday.
This Sunday, which actually by the time this goes out, the
Yeah,
show
it'll be
might
on
have
the
run.
same day.
It's sold out anyway, which is great. Great.
Yeah.
They're selling tickets well. So I'm going to be doing a rum bull. Get it? Because it's Bradford Bulls. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then I've got, before the year's out, I've got 2 debuts coming up, and I've got somewhere I'm returning to where I haven't wrestled in a while, so they're fun. Obviously, I can't talk too much about it. That's just me being like, until I'm actually stood there in the ring, I think it might end up falling through, or you never know what's going to happen, do you? So, so I've got stuff in my back pocket just in case if I lose my Pipe Factory bookings going forward. But hopefully it won't come to that.
So where can they find you to keep up with that?
Yeah,
stuff?
so I usually use Instagram now, so it's at @thejack_Maxwell. I wanted the Jack Maxwell, but I was so late to Instagram that was already taken. Because my Twitter, which I've pretty much completely come off now.
Yeah, cost
I hate the algorithms and all that. But if you message me on there or you tag me in something, I will repost it. That is at the Jack Maxwell.
We will put them in the description.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Twitter one, because I always forget about Twitter.
Yeah.
So-
And I've flirted with getting a Facebook page, but I'm still not quite sure on it, so I don't have one of them yet. But yeah, they're the places to catch me on socials. Any shows that I've got coming up will be plugged on there.
Cool. Well, we'll put them in the description, like I
Nice.
say. So give them a follow. It's every time you follow somebody, it's helpful for them. You know, as independent contractors, you know, every bit of attention does help. So follow, interact with Jack, with all of our previous guests, and I guess that pretty much takes us to time, because we've got to do a small intimate training session tonight.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Show up, guys. I can't say anything.
Hey, the other sessions have been busy, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for this week.
Uh-huh.
So what do they need to do?
5-star ratings, thumbs up, heart it, like it, whatever, on any platform you can think of. They're all in the description, and that's a him job.
Review.
Yeah, sure.
Write some
Comment,
words. It doesn't
share.
cost you anything to do that, you know. It's free. So you can, for free, you can do that.
Wow.
It helps us. So they're getting something for free. They're getting the ability to type.
I know, right? Use the keyboard that you lot like to attack people with. How about that?
Yeah, subscribe, notification bell. Again, all really helpful. Little shares. Look out for the outtakes, because if I can make them say some really stupid stuff in there, I will do.
Always does.
That takes me about 4 hours to do anyway. There must be someone out there who can help me do that more efficiently. But yeah, that's it. So,
And we didn't even mention the lack of picture. Go do something else. Goodbye.
bye.